There we go. Let me adjust this. All right. So where we left off, Navarra had used. Was it Speak with Animals that you had used?
I think so.
And you kind of talked your way past a little bit the gorilla wolf-like creature in the main cave, which is Jack is kind of very nervously warning you guys. Looks like he's getting agitated and maybe heading your way very shortly. The two that were in front of you are much smaller, maybe juveniles. You can't really tell for sure, but Peter was about to, I believe, was about to cast Vitriolic Sphere at them when we cut off.
Yep.
So is that what you were doing, Sako?
Yeah, I was gonna move and cast the sphere just behind them, so that way we don't get hit.
Okay, you're gonna crash it in like to the wall. There's these stone steps, like hewn stone, inside of this. Like this cavern area around it has kind of grown up around the, what presumably had been some kind of a fortress entrance or something of that sort. So there's hewn stone back there, which these guys don't look capable of creating. But you're gonna throw it back into that and then splash it against them, or what's the idea there?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to target them, but I'm having a hard time targeting them. I was actually going to shoot between the two of them, right behind, I guess above the one behind there and to the right of the other.
Okay. You got... shit, let me try my secondary one. Alright, so you guys can't see that. Try, can you interact with your tokens at all? Can you pick up your token and move it or anything?
Actually, no.
G, say something again. I'm hearing you through Becky's mic. I'm not hearing you through your own anymore.
Sorry, I had mine muted.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't move my token either.
Okay. All right. So I put in. There's a new called an extension, but basically like a mod that lets me set down layers of tokens. You're still supposed to be able to move them, though. I may have to move them for you guys tonight, just because I'll have to restart the server and everything to take it back off. But shit, that sucks for targeting too. I'll take care of it. I'll do it for you guys. You just I'll move your token and you tell me if that's where you want to be, kind of thing, just to get through today's session, and then I'll take it back off. It kind of sucks because it's actually a pretty useful extension. But anyways, you're just going to target between the two of them, and then. I'm going to go ahead and target them for you, Sako, but only so that you can apply damage, assuming that you hit anyways.
Yeah, just so that the sphere is just out of reach to harm me.
Okay. So do this, Sako. Go to your combat tracker.
Yep.
Shit, I don't think you can see that part. Can do you see a little icon that looks like a target in the combat tracker?
No.
On you? Okay.
No.
All right. I'll do it for you then, real quick. Alright, I've got both of them targeted for you. Alright, go ahead and throw out your vitriolic sphere. You're crashing it against the back there, so you're not going to be hitting yourself, presumably.
Yeah, casting at level 4.
Okay. Looks like they both failed their saves. So you send this coruscating orb that crashes into the wall behind them, and it splashes back. That just kind of erupts over them, and then just covers them both in this viscous acid. The ice pool doesn't seem to be too affected by it, but it does splash over them, of course. Go ahead and roll your damage on it, and mark off your spell slot, of course. Both of them howl. There's the kind of a mix between a bark and it sounds a little bit like a dog bark. And I actually have the sound for it, but I didn't pull up the thing for it. It was actually the raptor sound from Jurassic Park. 21. And then I have to apply the 5d4 for the next round, right?
Correct.
What level is that? You said you were casting it at 4, but what level is it normally?
4.
Okay. You already marked off your slot?
I'm marking it off now. Just takes me a little bit. I gotta scroll through it.
Sure.
Oh, it's already marked. I did it.
Oh, you probably did last. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that splashed over them. Any bonus actions? Toki doing anything?
No, just jumping off my shoulder and running interference. That's all.
All right. That if your turn then?
That's it.
All right. What is Kita's doing? You do hear a roar coming from the hallway behind you.
Yeah, I was gonna say we still got that big guy behind under us.
Yeah,
or below us.
When you hear that, you turn and see Jack actually starting to panic, and he's still got the book in one hand that he's been jotting, like kind of drawing these creatures with, but he's kind of both hands like against the wall, like trying to make himself as small as possible, like trying to meld into the wall almost, just kind of flat against the wall and starting to back up, coming up this direction. What are you doing?
Well, since it's not here yet, all right, I'll move up this way. Okay. Okay, I'll have to use a combat tracker to target him. So, oh, I can't move myself either.
Oh, duh. Yeah, sorry. Where? I guess tell me squares wise. Are you going like 3 up, 1 right, or something like that?
I was going to put myself. I was going to use a sweep attack, so I guess I would have to put myself in the square where those guys are surrounding me, right?
Yeah,
Does that
right
have to be
there.
within 5 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's 25 to get you there, so you still have 15.
Okay, and then yeah. So first action.
Target him for you. All right.
And then I guess the one on the top I'll hit with the main damage.
All right.
So
there you
he'll
go.
be my target.
You can go ahead and roll it and everything now. I've already targeted him for you.
First, I'm going to put my shield
Sweep
up.
attack. Let me find that one real quick. This is the one you just picked up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's new.
When you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you can expend 1 superior order die to attempt to damage another creature with the same attack. Choose another creature within 5 feet of the original target and within your reach. If the original target would, or if the original attack would hit the second creature, it takes damage equal to the number you roll on your superior order die. Cool.
Okay, so oh, slashing. Okay, so I'll roll the damage when it says slashing. I'm assuming,
Yeah.
right?
Well, first,
Okay.
I mean, first you roll the attack, so see if it hits.
Ah, yes. So just like a regular attack.
Yeah.
Okay. And just roll it in the chat bar because you already have them targeted.
If you just hit the, because you already have them targeted. So let me untarget one of them actually, because
It'll try to hit them both, huh? With the
yeah,
main
it'll
attack?
try to do the exactly. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Nope.
Way to go. You kind of run around the corner and have Ruin kind of ready to go. Shield still in front of you to get any blocked any attempts to swing back at you. But as you try to run the blade across, as you're coming around the corner there, you end up fumbling over some loose rocks that are on the floor and miss and end up tumbling down to the floor. You land face first just at their feet, where they're kind of stomping their hands. They're gorilla shaped. Their hands like into the ground and kind of smashing them right next to your head. Just as soon as you kind of fall onto the ground like that, they both kind of rear up on their rear legs with their just fists basically up in the air. They haven't it's not their turn yet, so they're not hitting you or anything like that, but they're definitely looking very aggressive towards you at the moment. And you are prone. Just remember next turn, obviously, to get rid of that condition, it'll take half of your movement to stand up.
Okay.
But if you stay down, then you will they'll have advantage to hit you.
All right. Do I get a second attack or no? Since I fell over.
Well, shit. You know what? Actually, since you, I don't think you have to connect with your first one, but because you're prone, you're gonna have to try to swing at them from the ground, which means you're gonna have disadvantage trying to hit them.
Okay.
So you're laying, you kind of lift yourself up to one, with your elbow, and then try to maybe slash at one of their feet or something.
Try to stab him in the balls.
Sure. Just make a regular
Let me
attack
get the
for that.
disadvantage first.
Yeah, hit the disadvantage and then a regular attack. You can actually still use one of your maneuvers if you want. I would say this sweep probably wouldn't exactly work just from being on the floor like that, but
Yeah. So just another.
you could go precision, which would give you an increased chance to hit, which would kind of offset your disadvantage.
Okay. Actually, I think I will. So I guess I just need to take that off.
Well, leave
So
the
just-
leave the disadvantage on, and then
Oh,
click
okay.
the effect on precision attack, and mark
Okay.
off your use. It's going to add 1d10 to your attack roll, basically, so increase your chance of hitting it. Oh, sorry. I gotta retarget him for you. Which one are you trying to hit?
I guess the one on to the north.
Okay.
Again.
There you go.
Do I need to hit the effect again?
No, the effect is on.
Okay.
You just need to make the attack roll now. And it hits.
Sweet.
It would have been a 14, which would have missed. So, good that you used it. I marked off the use for you.
Sweet.
So yeah, you kind of collapse, in your face into the gravel, basically, and then lift yourself up on one shoulder and slash at his ankle, kind of behind the knee, and it cuts in deep. It doesn't look like he's wounded from it pretty, too significantly, but he does hop back slightly from you, whereas, he was preparing to try to swing at you, and he's still now he's just reared up a little bit. Is that it for your turn?
Yeah.
Wait, do you get 3 now? You have 3, don't you? Don't you get 3 attacks? From Thirsting Blade?
Don't. Oh, did I?
I don't remember.
I didn't know if that was... I never even looked at that. Because I know I have double attack or whatever that is. Or second attack or whatever. I think that's where my second one comes from.
That was Thirsting Blade. Yeah, it's only 2, but I thought you could get 3 before long. Well, let's double check it at the end of the session, just in case.
Okay.
Right,
then, yeah. Good,
is that it for your turn, then? Okay.
Yeah.
Navarre's turn.
Okay, so that Fangs of... I can't even read what that is.
Benarathis.
That doesn't...
That's your wolf god.
Yeah, so that doesn't actually take effect until my next turn, right? The beginning of my next turn?
Which part of it? Because there's 3 parts.
The second attack. Where I can use... Yeah, I can make an extra attack.
Let me take a look here. There it is. Once per turn, when you miss with a ranged weapon attack, you can repeat the attack against the target. You mean the last one, sorry. As a bonus action, you imbue... no action required. No, so as a bonus action, you could do it, and then you would use your action to attack, meaning you could fire twice right now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Right,
it doesn't take any action to do it. It's just basically if you shoot, you get to shoot twice. Until your concentration's broken.
Okay, now I've got a clear line of sight to the one...
It does say at the
Just
start of your
below,
turn.
right?
I would say that I'll change the wording of that so that you can use it and still use it in the same round, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. You do have... He's got quarter cover where he is right now.
Alright, so...
You could move one to the left and you'd have a clear shot, or one to the northwest.
Okay, we'll just do that then.
Northwest?
Yeah.
There you go. Let me target him for you. Sorry, guys. I would need to have logged in another character to see, but I didn't see any reason that was going to break the way targeting and stuff works. There's got to be a way to fix it. So, all right, you have the effect up. You are good to go. Oh, put the concentration on yourself.
Oh, I thought it did.
Did I not put that in there? Nope, I didn't. Okay. I will remember to put that in later.
Okay. So which one is that? Here,
One
no,
sec.
just put it in there. There we go.
Sorry, I was making a note to get that added for you. Okay, and it hits. You kind of hop over to one corner and release a shot. It looks like... Shit, actually. So, it hit. The arrow sails over and kind of crosses just across his brow, just right over his eyes. Almost got him in the eye. But it looks like it kind of dinged off of this thing's skin. And it's hard to tell in here because there's just a little bit of light coming from the kind of braziers off to the back there, braziers. But the skin of these creatures looks like it's pretty hard. It looks like it's resisting. It's resistant to the mundane attack like that.
Lovely.
Yeah, it bounced off.
Right, can I?
Was it resistant to
Shoot
my
again.
slash, Juji?
It also was, yeah. Sorry, I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
Your slash still did. Yeah, I mean it bled a little bit actually from both. Even with the the which one is that? Oh, they didn't change the names on them. I can't tell. Hang on. I'll label them 1 and 2 so I can tell which one's which. There. Anyway, so it still did a little bit of damage to both. They still bled. It just doesn't look like it is hurting them very much, is all.
I'm assuming that one missed.
Second one did miss. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Jack is standing where he is. He's kind of trying to warn you guys that he sees this. The big one. He shouts that it's going to charge. He hops over in front of Nivara a little bit protectively, and you see. Actually, I guess you guys aren't really looking, but you hear kind of a crackling. And Peter, you recognize this sound that's coming out. There's a crackling sound, and the chamber kind of lights up with this bright whitish blue kind of a color, and you hear or you smell ozone in the air all of a sudden, and there's a howl coming from the same creature, of course, that came in from the back, as it was obviously hit by something. All right. That is it for Jack's turn. And he shouts, "It's coming!" And then you hear, after the thing kind of howls, you hear it kind of storming down through these rocks as its knuckles banging against the rock here as it charges out. 40, I don't think he's going to make it. He makes it this far, so like you like hear him, and the smell is just extremely strong coming right through this. In fact, it's distracting for Nivara, but he did not make it the rest of the way. It is the little one's turn. This is the little one that you just cut, G. It rears back and brings its fists together and tries to slam them down on your head. He's going to have advantage because you're on the ground. It's going to say claws, but it's kind of a slam attack on you. 17, what's your ACG?
I think 18 with my shield.
Oh, did you have your shield up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, alright.
Also, sorry, acid for the two guys too.
Oh, yeah. Alright, Sako, do me a favor, and you still have them targeted, I think? Yep, you do.
I do, yeah.
Go ahead and roll that 5d4. 12 to both of them. The smell in your nostrils, G, is like almost making you pass out. It's so bad. These things are covered in a thin layer of hair that is being melted away and burned, which is bad. Just an awful smell. But they already smelled bad before that. So these things are just emitting this noxious stench from them. Let's see. All right, with your all right. It just expired the shield because of the previous round was all, but you had it up. So he's trying to bring his fists down to kind of club you, and you just throw your shield up just in time to knock that one away. While the second one actually is going to try to grapple you. He's reaching down to try to pick you up. So you feel this kind of giant, sharp clawed gorilla hand trying to pick you up. It's big. That the claw of this thing is big enough that it tries to kind of grab you. You're like by the shoulder basically to pick you up. Go ahead and make
nice. How friendly of him. He's going to help me stand up.
Yeah, he's going to stand you up and then fling you across the room.
Oh, come on, man. We don't need that second fight.
Make a... Well, how are you going to try to evade this? Are you going to try to, like, slip out of its grasp? Or are you going to try to put, like, physically, like, push him off strong, like, strength-wise?
Probably try to slip out, because I'm guessing I'm not going to be stronger than this fucking thing. So.
Alright, then... you need to beat... well, his was only a 12. It's going to be a strength contest. So you need to beat a 12 on your rolling acrobatics, I guess. Yeah, just roll acrobatics.
Okay.
God damn it. So you, he tries to kind of just get his arm or his hand around your shoulder, but you just kind of knocked the other one away with your shield, and you've kind of rotated your shoulder in just such a way that he's having trouble kind of getting it, and you just kind of pull yourself out of the way. You're still prone, but neither of them were able to hit you. It is Peter's turn.
All right,
You
I'm
guys are
going to-
there's now that all of this is like this kind of cacophonous little fight is happening in here. There are multiple roars coming through from the back, like through coming through that gateway, through that doorway. A lot more. There's you don't have time to count them, but there's a lot of these same kinds of these barking sounds that these creatures are emitting that are coming from that hallway.
From behind the big guy? Or
No,
from the little staircase?
from behind the small guys.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Sarko.
Oh, that just changes things. Just looking around this cave, where the two enemies are right there,
Mhm.
is that water above them, or is that
It's a frozen
What
lake.
is that?
Yeah, a frozen pond, rather, yeah. And the acid is kind of fizzled out where it landed on there. In fact, actually, Ketis is in the area where the acid was burning and went, face planted on it. So it, like, burned your gear a little bit. Not enough to damage anything, just a little bit of singeing on your chest where you landed on the floor.
Gotcha. I'm going to move 30 feet up.
Okay.
And then the enemy that I'm 15 feet away from right now, I'm going to shoot a firebolt at it.
Okay. Let me clear the other one. There you
I'm finding firebolt here.
go. Level 1, cantrip, actually.
Got it. Casting now.
And it hits. You go sending out this small mote of burning embers that just kind of crash into this thing right at the back of its head, where it just kind of tried to club at Ketis.
Alright. And hit attack, right?
Roll the damage on it. You already did the attack. The attack hit. There you go. And by the way, the acid and the fire both seem to have done full damage to it. It doesn't look like those were resisted. That it for your turn?
Yeah, that's going to be it.
Ketis, what are you doing? You are prone still. You just
First
knocked
thing
away
is-
one shield and then, or with your shield, and then kind of dug your shoulder out of the way to avoid being picked up.
So I'm gonna stand up first.
Alright, I will remove the prone effect from you. Then what are you doing?
Actually, I'll move back a little bit, so I'll move like 1, 2, 3, so just north of Navarra, just so to let Grace Race is to the left, to the west.
You have mobile, don't you? So no
Yeah.
opportunity attacks. Do you have to? No, that's only for Rakish Audacity. Yeah. So you're going one north of Navarra.
Well, I'd be two up against the wall, so one more north.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, thanks. Okay, and then let's see.
You
These guys
stand
know-
up.
Okay, the one.
You stand up, throw your shield in front of yourself, and you can just back away. So you're still
Yeah,
facing
moving
them.
away.
Okay.
Yeah, still facing them.
Okay.
And then need to make sure I put my shield back up. And then the one that I still have targeted, see if I can hit him with the death spell.
Okay. That's the northernmost of the two. And it hits.
Sweet.
And in fact, actually, he's very distracted by that because you getting up and backing away. He hasn't turned yet to respond to that. Like, these creatures don't exactly move super fast, and you've smashed it in the head, and it is now deafened as well. So in fact, actually, if it doesn't notice that you're there, Peter, you'll have advantage if you attack that one, just because he won't know that you're there. He didn't see you run by. He was focused on Ketis. It won't matter because he just got blasted in the face and his head blew out. So. Way to ruin my fun monsters, guys. Making me
Sorry,
sad.
Peter. No more advantage for you, man.
So yeah, your death knell just blasts this one in the side of the head, and he kind of begins to go limp and then just collapses to the ground, laying at the edge of the frozen pool there.
Okay, now I'll see if I can hit the other one with a death knell as well.
Okay.
Is he targeted?
Sorry. There you go.
Okay.
And it hits.
Sweet. Then I'll move him to push him.
Yeah, right. So this one was already kind of facing you, and when the other one was smacked in the side of the face, he just turned to look at you, having noticed Peter. He just turned to look at you, and just as he's kind of turned to face you, the death knell smacks him in the face as well, and he kind of shaking his head and stumbling, and he falls backwards towards the brazier back there. That's it for your turn.
Yeah, since I somehow didn't get hurt, so.
He is still standing. He's not knocked down or anything. He's not looking good, but he's still moving. All right, Navarre's turn. What are you doing?
Okay, so I'm gonna move. Let's see, 1, 2 to the right, so that way I got a clear view of the large one on the bottom.
Okay, there you go. You are right up against the wall.
Okay.
As when you pass him, Jack he's still facing this creature, and he's got kind of one arm out. He's not trying to get in your way or anything like that, but he's got one arm out, like trying to, get its attention, basically, to get it focused on him, not you.
Okay, and then will you target him for me?
Oh, sorry. There you go.
And then I'm gonna hit him with Blight.
God damn it. How come I don't get to have no fun? You guys gotta go kill all my fun monsters every time. He did succeed, actually. Your DC was a 17, he got a 19. He really had a 17 plus 2.
Alright, so he still takes half damage, right?
I think so. Which one is Blight? Is that 6? What level is that?
4.
Alright. Level 4, Blight. Necromantic energy watches over the creature. Yeah, we've done this one before. It isn't a creature, so it's a tree or shrub. It just withers and dies. What level were you casting it at? At 4?
Level. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, half as much on a success. So since he succeeded, if you roll it, it'll automatically half it.
Okay.
God, that's so many dice. So many dice. It's like 8d. Yeah, it's 8d8. Thankfully, it was halved. All right. This was the kind of he was still charging towards Jack and making this kind of barking, roaring sound, and you just cover him in this waft of what looks like rotting leaves that kind of just emanating out of your hands and covering over him. That begins to kind of burn away his skin. He already looks pretty heavily wounded just from that. Shit, that was the only thing that hit him. Why did it didn't half it? Wait, did something hit him already?
Yeah, Jack hit him.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, Jack did. Okay, yeah, because the number didn't make sense, but it was the number. His health was at 42 wounds, 42 damage that had been done to him. But you only rolled 41, so I couldn't figure out where the rest of it came from. I forgot Jack had lit him up with lightning. But you do notice actually that it's kind of burned away what looks like the rough layer of the skin, and he's just covered in this kind of this grayish colored muscle tissue. And he looks pretty like he's still very much moving and everything, but it looks like maybe the protective layer has been burned away.
Okay, and then just back up as far as I can into the other. Place it there.
All right,
So it's
no
fine.
bonus actions or anything? You
No.
used... Alright, you only used 10 to get there, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You can go up there. Is that where you wanted to go?
Yeah.
So as soon as you come up this way, you're still hearing the kind of barking sounds that are coming from that hallway back there. In fact, you can see a little bit further because of the angle that you're at, and also from Sako had his dancing lights out here as well. So, oh shit, really? Oh fuck, that's gonna suck. Hang on, guys. There we go. Okay. You know what? I think I put you guys in the wrong layer. That must be what it is. I think you guys are supposed to be on the bottom layer. Let me try moving you guys down to the bottom layer real quick and then see if targeting will work for you. Because the mask mode wouldn't work on the layer that I have you guys on either. Alright, you guys... yeah, I'm going to delete you guys off of here real quick, and then I'll put you back on in this layer and see if it'll let you do it now. Navarre, you were about there, I think? Is that right? And you were there?
I think that's exactly where I was. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so Peter, let me do yours as well. Because it seems like you'd have to be able to, still target and everything like normal. So the DM wouldn't want to be doing every step of it, so... Let me put the big guy back on this layer and see if this works now. Sorry guys, like I would have tested this beforehand. I just don't really like. I would have had to have a play, you know, a separate kind of pseudo player in there. All right, try targeting that guy.
I don't think so.
Still nothing. I'll read up on it, figure it out. Either way, I can get it unmasked though. But anyway, so you can see down this hallway though, and you can hear, you see that there are 2 branches at least, and then it looks like the hallway continues on, coming from down there, and there's a lot more barking. Make a perception check on Nivara. You're hearing at least 3 more sounds. 3 more creatures, individual creatures. Jack.
Flame all right there.
Jack, where he is standing, he keeps looking over his shoulder, looking at you guys, trying to be as protective as possible, but realizing he's not necessarily the best guy to do that. He's not turning and running. He's still looking in the creature's direction, but not looking in its eyes, and he comes kind of backing up to stand next to Ketis. And he's kind of, you know, your shield is kind of between you two, basically. And he's kind of standing there ready to attack again. He is going to... That works. You see him holding one hand out, and he's got a small... what would be a wand, essentially, but he's got it, looks like it's kind of wrapped into a thing around his wrist. Like he's maybe got it kind of stuffed into his wrist, and he's kind of holding it out like Spider-Man style almost, or Iron Man style almost. And it comes out of that in this kind of crackling beam of white and blue energy rolls over the creature again. And it did not automatically apply because I forgot to have him, or I didn't retarget him. So there we go. No, that didn't work. There we go. It looks pretty badly wounded. It is covered like very severely in these burns all over its body and exposed muscle everywhere. It is careful. It's still charging, but is moving a little bit slower. And it is... Shit. I'm gonna be mad if you guys got out of its range. Let me target you guys to see. It showed me for a second. What was it? Alright, whatever. Here. Oh yeah, it's definitely within range. The severely wounded and burned creature comes barreling out towards you. Make a dex save on Ketis.
I'm going to use my Shield Master as a bonus action.
Let me read it real quick. I'm not sure that's going to help you here. Let me see. Shield Master. Boost dex save. If you aren't incapacitated, you can add your shield's AC to any dex saving throw you make again. Well, spell. Well, this one. Okay, 2 things.
Is that one supposed to be spells?
Well, no, it's a spell or harmful effect. That would be like if someone was throwing a fireball at you or something like that. This one,
okay.
He's charging at, but he's charging at both you and Jack, so it wouldn't work for this one. It sucks because you kind of really have. I don't think you've used that. You used it maybe once. But anyways, he's barreling at the both of you, and as he gets close, it basically comes charging up, and then as soon as he gets within range, he stands up on his rear legs and swings the back of his fist at Jack, trying to smack Jack in the head, trying to charge and kind of use all that momentum to send Jack careening across the room. Jack ducks just in time. He got a 17, you need to beat a 16. And the fist goes sailing over his head. Go ahead and make your dex save, G.
Cool.
You need to beat a 16. So his right fist, this creature's right fist, went sailing right over Jack's head, and it's bringing its left one in almost like a rear uppercut, basically. Like the back of his fist comes up towards your jaw and connects, and you are almost immediately sent spiraling. and I would say make a con save as well. But you are thrown, just from the impact from it, you are thrown up and bounced off the ceiling, and then land as you kind of scrape across the ice here over by Peter. You do not black out, but you do immediately see stars and have a pretty awful headache, of course, right from the start. And you take 26 damage. There you go. Alright. That is it for that creature's turn. And you are similarly, of course, hearing the barking sounds coming from the back there. The small creature, I gotta put it back on this floor as well. Damn it. Over by the brazier. Seeing the alpha kind of coming, or I guess probably more hearing, but the larger one, not the alpha, but the larger one coming in, is going to, still realizing that he's not a huge creature for the kinds of threat that the big one has, is picking up a bunch of the rocks that are on the ground here and starting to pelt at Nivara with them. Make 3 dex saves on Nivara as these rocks go sailing by you.
Dang it. Seriously.
All 3. In fact, actually, you'll need to make a concentration save too. So it was 24 damage. We'll just do it as 1, and I'll reduce it a little bit just to make it fair, to keep your concentration. Make a con save, and you need to beat a 24. Would be, you need to beat a 16. Okay, yeah, you beat it. So you keep your spell, you keep your concentration, but these rocks come. You're just not expecting it. One of them hits you in the left shoulder. Another one hits you like just in your ribs and your ribs on the left side, and the other one clacks you across the jaw. As these 3 rocks can just pelt you. That is 24 damage, and that is it for its turn. Peter's turn. You have a prone Ketis at your feet. And then this other creature on the side is throwing rocks at you guys, and the big one is looking very dangerous. He looks very injured, but looks very dangerous still.
Okay, if I were to move slightly to the right, I'm thinking out loud here.
Like here?
Yeah. Would it cost an action to help Ketis get back on his feet?
I would say bonus action to lift him up.
So I could do a bonus action and then 1 attack?
Yeah, you'd still have your normal action. You'd still have your full attack, or your full normal action. You don't usually use your bonus actions anyways. Like, you have some, you just don't really use them very often.
Alright, I'm going to help with bonus action. I'm going to help him get to his feet real quick, lift him up.
Thank you.
Yeah, assuming you're not resisting that, then you're standing up now on Ketis.
Yeah. Sweet.
Okay, move to the right, and then I'm going to move 1 square up from there.
Okay.
Target the little guy by the brazier.
Okay.
And I believe he's within 120 feet. That's still pretty close, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's probably within 45, 50 feet.
Alright, I'm going to do another firebolt towards him.
Okay. He does look pretty wounded already, so. From the previous being knocked back from the death knell. You go sending this one across, you kind of arc it up over just to make the distance cleanly without it petering out before it hits him. And he was still paying attention to Nivara and throwing the rocks over there. Doesn't even see this, and this small ball of fire kind of smacks him in the chest. And singes away some more of that fur. Go ahead and roll your damage. So close. Still standing. He makes that awful bark sound, and this room is just being like filled with this like thick acrid smoke of these things like being burned and with acid and fire. And then there's still the body of the one laying there on the ground still. So these things are not long for this world, but the choking stuff in the air is getting tough to breathe. That it for your turn?
Yes, but can I just shout a command real quick to Nivara and Ketis?
Yeah, what's up? Free action. That's a free action to talk, so.
Yeah, it's a free action. I'm going to yell at them to get back over here to where I am.
Do you guys hear Peter yell that out for you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Ketis' turn.
Okay. See how much I would have.
You are
Yeah,
standing,
that's
so you don't need to worry about half your movement to stand.
Okay. But still, I'm gonna move back that way. So I'll get myself in line with Peter, so I'll be, not directly next to him, but move up 2 squares.
Like here?
So to the left a little bit.
There.
Like, yeah, that'll be fine. Just next to him. Actually, one more. Yes, that way I'm out of line of sight.
Okay.
And I think I'm still within range there.
You're 30 feet from the small one.
Okay.
So Sokka, you were probably only like 25 or something from him. No, you were 30 feet as well. Yeah, you're about 30 feet from him. From the small. The big one. What are you trying to do, G?
Not sure yet. It could be mean. Yeah, maybe I will. Alright, well, I'm going to actually use the rest of my movement to get up to the big one. And I'm just going to kill him off. He fucking pissed me off. So.
What's that?
Oh, is that the sound back for the thing?
Yeah, that was. So I was trying to put it back on here.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're hearing that kind of barking sound coming from the end of the hallway there. All right, sorry, G, go ahead.
Okay. Actually, I am
back
gonna,
up too.
Yeah, I'm going to pop my shield back up, and then I'm going to actually move up in front of the big guy. So, right next to him.
Oh, right now. Sorry. Okay, so you were here-ish, right? And he stood you up. Yeah, you still have plenty of room.
I won't have. Yeah, I won't have
gonna-
too much movement left, but I should be able to get down to him.
You only used 25, I think. 20 or 25, so you still have plenty. You just charged at the big guy?
Yeah.
Okay. It had just kind of it's re-righted itself. It's now standing on its fists and kind of barking and roaring and trying to shy itself back a little bit because it's just covered in wounds by now. But you kind of, Peter helps you up and you go charging right back at it, sword in one hand and shield in the other. What are you doing?
Since he flung me across the room, I'm going to kill him off and use Finger of Death on him because he's a dick.
I think Finger of
Dumb
Death
man,
has a range. It's not a touch spell. You didn't have to get up in his face for it.
Oh, because when the Lich did it, when Jack did it as a Lich, he was touching him, so I thought I had to actually... I didn't even read it. I thought I had to actually touch him.
I think it has a range.
I didn't even read.
Finger of
60
Death.
feet, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Alright. You send negative energy coursing through a creature that you can see within range, causing it searing pain. The target must make a con saving throw. If it takes 78 plus 30 necrotic damage on a failed save or half as much on a success. Humanoid killed by the spell rises at the start of your next turn as a zombie that is permanently under your command, following your verbal orders to the best of its ability.
yeah. I don't know, that's not really feasible to have a giant fucking thing running around with me.
Well, I mean,
still.
this thing isn't humanoid as much as it is beast anyway, so it wouldn't count.
Yeah. So,
But it did fail its save, so you kind of go running towards this as you're running, throwing Ruin back over your back into the sheath, and extending your hand out as you're kind of charging at this thing just to make sure that you don't accidentally hit Jack, and send this necrotic boiling black and green energy over it. Go ahead and roll the damage on it. It failed to save, so we'll see if this wipes it out or not. So there aren't many opportunities we get to see this. This energy boils over it and begins to kind of melt away what is still remaining. And as it's kind of burning the remaining flesh away, you see bits and pieces of the skeleton of this thing. The skull is the skin is melted off of the face. The flesh goes off of the shoulders, and everything else is just kind of sloughing off to the ground. And these big chunks of heavy meat just slapping into the dirt in the rocks there, and just leaving kind of this massive gorilla-style skeleton standing in front of you before it starts to kind of collapse towards you. And in fact, actually, you probably have to step back a little bit to keep it from landing on you, same with Jack. But I think we've seen this once before. You did enough damage that not only did it go unconscious, because generally creatures automatically go unconscious, it was actually instant death because it did more than double the amount of HPs it had left. So you actually wiped it out. You had the little guy targeted, but you did 70 damage.
Oh.
And he only had 31 left. So
Okay.
more than double what he had left. That was not your fault, because I was the one that should have targeted him. But so the big guy melted and collapsed. There's just a massive skeleton that is like blocking your way out. Basically, you guys are gonna have to, if you were gonna try to go that way, you'll have to climb through it carefully. But the little one is still freaking out. Just got smacked and has almost no HPs left.
Do I
Right.
still have another attack, or does that count as my attack?
That would count as your action. If you were doing Death Knell, then
Yeah.
you'd still have your other one, yeah. But you used your Finger of Death, so that is marked off. I think you get that back on a short, maybe a long rest. But go ahead and mark off your Arcanum 7.
Okay. And then, yeah, that'll be
That'd
good
be
for
your
my turn. I don't think I have much of a movement left anyway, so yeah.
All right. You still have, I think, 15 feet. 15, maybe 20. Navarro's turn. You did keep the concentration on your Fangs of Fenarathis, so...
Well, let's see. Move it up to 3. How far away am I from the little one?
Let me put the target on him. 25 feet.
Alright, then I'm going to use... Where is it? Flaming Sphere. And just throw it at him.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to be able to move 30.
Is that concentration? What level's Flaming Sphere?
Yeah, it's concentration. It's 3rd level, I think?
Okay.
2nd level.
Alright, you're going to drop your Fenarathis for it?
Yeah.
Alright. Go ahead, yeah, put the concentration effect for it. A 5-foot diameter sphere. A fire appears in an unoccupied space of your choice within range and lasts for the duration. Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of the sphere must make a dex saving throw. On the creature takes 2d6 fire damage on a failed save or half as much on a success. As a bonus action, you can move the sphere up to 30 feet. If you ram the sphere into a creature, that creature must make the saving throw against the sphere's damage, and the sphere stops moving its turn. When you move the sphere, you can direct it over barriers up to 5 feet tall, blah, blah, blah. Alright, so you've got a pet orb, fiery orb around right now. And I have something cool for that. So, 1 second here. Yeah. There you go. There's your pet flaming sphere.
Sweet.
You want to hit him with it?
Yeah.
I have all these tokens now for a bunch of spells and stuff. Alright. I think it stays... Yeah, I'll put it like halfway on him to bump him. Go ahead and roll the spell, roll the damage or whatever. I guess you gotta roll the save first, so...
Yeah, so hit cast first.
He rolled a 1 for an auto fail. Go ahead and roll the damage.
Which damage? The 2d6 or the 3d6?
That, with the 3d6 would be the upgraded one if you're casting it at a higher level. So just the 2d6. You're
Okay.
assuming you're only casting it at 2nd level anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So you send out this kind of roiling ball of fire that kind of slowly meanders its way over there, but he's not reacting fast enough. Like, these creatures don't move super fast, and it just kind of begins to melt him away as it gets close. And he was already not doing so well as it was, and just kind of begins to burn off the exposed tissue and everything until he slumps over and is no longer moving. That is it for that little guy. But your sphere, you can keep it, so it doesn't automatically drop, so keep that in mind. It stays for 1 minute, as long as you don't lose your concentration. And you can continue to move it, so it's still there. But you guys are still hearing the barking coming from in the corner. And what are you guys doing?
I guess we should probably head down that way.
I think we have to go that way anyway, don't we?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta head back down there. Maybe I could do some recon.
Sentoki.
Sure. Jack turns and looks at you. He just kind of looks at you wide-eyed and surprised. He says, "Wow, I wasn't expecting that." And he kind of leans over and he's just hands on his knees, just kind of taking a second to catch a breath. You see, he's still got the journal. He's kind of shoved it into a belt pouch that he's got. That journal that he was sketching these creatures with. The room is mostly being illuminated now by that fiery orb, just because it's a lot brighter than the braziers that are there. But you guys are still hearing the barking. They've slowed a little bit now that there's 3 of these dead creatures in here. In fact, the fiery orb is still burning the one that's dead on the ground there. But you basically have a giant skeleton blocking the exit, or not blocking completely, but you'll have to either move it or carefully climb around it, and then 2 other bodies in the room. So, what are you guys doing?
Start moving down that way, I guess. Slowly, look around.
Yeah. You guys want to go in stealth, or you want to go in dynamic?
Well, I'm assuming they can see us with the ring of fire that we have anyway. So
Well,
So
that
you-
and they already know we're here.
yeah.
All right. I'll throw some of those light orbs down the hall or down the stairs and illuminate the way.
All right. That's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to move you guys along too. For the, all right, I guess so. So you're moving. What is that? There we go. Sako, like about there. Where are you heading to?
Yeah, and just chuck those orbs out.
All right. Then I will reveal. It looks like there's a stairway right there. There's another stairway straight ahead that this one goes. Basically, the ones you're on go down, and then they go back up again at the far side, and there's more braziers over there. There is the one on the north actually looks like it's just a part of the wall, the rock that is just kind of broken down, but there's still just rocks behind it. It doesn't look like that goes anywhere. So basically, you can go straight ahead, or you can go to the right. Ben and Becky, Sako and Kiedis and Navarra.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to where Sako's. Or actually, I'm gonna go up and look. Was that stairways to the right? You said? To the
Yeah.
south.
Well,
Okay.
no, to the over here. So I just moved you over there. There's a stairway there.
Okay.
But you're hearing barking coming from in here, and you're hearing. While Navarro was listening, she could hear 4 different ones. One of them sounds very large. Sounds much bigger than the one you just killed, and then 3 others that sound like smaller than that. So like where you were, like here, G.
Yeah, actually, I'll move up and peek around the corner of what's north.
So that Sako could or Peter could kind of see it already. Basically, it's just part of the wall that is broken down, but there's nothing behind it. It's just more wall.
Okay.
It's just like maybe an earthquake or something had collapsed the hewn stone, the carved stone that was there. Where's Navarra at?
I'm gonna be up in the top corner of the stairs, so over by Peter.
Like here?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you moving the orb? Since
Yeah,
you guys are moving relatively quickly, I say it's only been probably 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe. So you still have probably 30 seconds of this thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just keep it up ahead of me as much as it'll go.
Like here?
Yeah.
Let's see if it would be 3 turns worth. So you technically could move it like pretty far. You could move it like up here within that time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just keep it up there then.
Okay. Jack comes up behind. All right, Peter, what are you doing?
Actually, if I could, can I have Toki jump off my shoulder and use his eyes to do a little bit of stealth reconnaissance south?
Sure. I'll grab Toki real quick.
Figure he's the smallest, lightest, and stealthiest.
All right. So he is peeking around the corner there. Are you using his eyes then?
Yeah, for now I'm just kind of seeing where he's at, seeing what's going on.
Okay. He peeks around the corner here. You notice that he's kind of through his senses. You're feeling how annoyed he is at how bad this smells. That it smells really, really awful. And the further you get into this place, these creatures are maybe not, they don't take baths, and maybe enclosed spaces are really, rough on creatures that don't take baths. But it looks like this cavern kind of opens up a little bit as you're seeing this open-ended space around here as he's kind of made his way up the stairs, being very careful. Go ahead and make a stealth check, and I'll use your stealth roll for it. Okay. Yeah, he's being exceptionally quiet. The barking is slowing a little bit, but from his angle, anyways, you can see that it kind of opens up into a chamber that you presume, based on the lighting and everything, is the same one that you were just looking at a second ago, straight ahead of you. And then there's another stairwell that goes down that he can just barely see the edge of.
All right.
Peter, you too, just going through this whole space is blindingly distracting with how how much the arcane energy is just in here. You're quite certain that the apotheosis is back here. It's hard to focus on things, and colors are being a little bit drowned out by how powerful that source is that's in the back of this area somewhere.
Gotcha.
All right, what's Ketis doing?
All right, which way do you guys want to try? South or east?
Peter, you can't hear
Well.
Ketis right now because, well, I guess you would hear them through Toki anyways, because Toki's close enough that he could still hear Ketis. So you could reply. Like, normally you wouldn't be able to hear Peter because you're using Toki's senses, but Toki can hear Ketis, so you can actually reply even though you're looking through Toki's eyes.
That's whichever way you guys want.
So just go down and to the right, I guess. Huh?
Cool. Yeah, so I guess we'll. Let's see.
Which way are you going, G? You're going up the stairs, like following Toki?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Toki.
Okay. You can get about there. Navarra?
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll follow.
All right. You keeping your orb going up those stairs?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it on that side.
Are you going to move it up the stairs any further, or are you just going to leave it where it is?
Just maybe to just below the top of the stairs.
That
Like
thing
there?
is still weaponized, right?
Yeah, it'll still, if anything gets near it, they'll have to make the saves and get burned. And Jack, as you're kind of stepping by, he whispers to both Peter and Navarre to be careful, that these creatures don't seem very friendly, obviously. He steps over to here and is kind of keeping an eye on both directions. Peter, are you going to be moving, or are you still just leaning against the wall while you're looking through Toki's eyes?
I'd like to move into the stairwell if that's possible, just
Okay.
to the south.
All right, so you drop your Toki connection then. You guys are there. Are you going to move Toki some more, or what's the idea?
Yeah, I'm gonna have Toki move to the right and look up that hallway.
All right. So he makes it here. So you kind of step into the hallway and then snap into his vision again. He, in fact, I would say, because you're the one looking through it, go ahead and make a wisdom save with your own stats.
I might be able to do my bones here.
I'll tell you. I'll let you decide now. Do you want to use that or not?
Let me see what I have. It's under inventory.
No, it's under your abilities. It's you have a 1, a 15, and a 19.
Let's use a 15.
Okay, 15 plus 8. Yeah, you make it. Okay, we'll mark out the 15. Your modifier's plus 8 for that. So, coming around the corner there, Toki, you're seeing this from the ground floor. You know, from really close to the ground. Toki's not very tall, of course, so it's a little bit extra disconcerting. But what Toki sees is standing in the corner over there, that's being illuminated largely by this floating orb, is another of those 8 creatures. This one quite massive. Hang on, I'll put him on here. 1 second. I'll make it invisible. This one looks like he almost wouldn't fit in here and doesn't exactly belong in here. But more importantly, standing off to the side of him is a clammy blue-gray skinned creature. Kind of looks like a humanoid shape, but kind of looks like the skin looks like a damp rock wall in like a wet cave might, just permanently sticky. Humanoid in shape though, 2 legs, 2 arms. The hands come to these sharp points on each clawed finger. Dressed in these really ragged robes that seems to be floating around this creature, as if it were floating in water. The creature looks to be hairless completely though. The face has these terrifying, malevolent eyes that are glowing with this hateful intelligence. And worst of all, where the mouth of this creature should be, are four cephalopod-like tentacles that drift away and sway just like the clothes, kind of as if it's underwater. Make a history check.
That's not good. Guessing it's a mind flayer or something. That's probably not good.
Surprised you remember what a mind flayer is. Oh, I guess, yeah, it would only be on Peter. Peter's the only one that can see it. I mean, yeah, because, well, Peter's the only one that can see it anyways, but the reason that you were making that save is because this would have scared the shit out of Toki. Peter, this thing resembles an imaginary creature from your homeworld, from where you're actually from, the place you had been 2 months before this. And that creature is called an illithid. They were also called mind flayers here. Oops. That they were just imaginary, though. They were just fictional creatures, but they were worshippers of a fictional godlike creature called Cthulhu, which of course you guys know. But there, and this is kind of how this creature looks, and it is holding this gleaming, glowing apotheosis. This orb is a little bit bigger than that, but this creature is holding that, and is standing in the corner, and is holding one hand out towards the giant Alpha, this gorilla wolf creature, Alpha, and looks to be as if he's controlling it in some way. And the creature is beginning to bark and chuff, and is very quickly becoming very aggressive, and maybe, because they saw Toki coming around the corner, maybe about to charge Toki. What are you guys doing?
Well, I'm going to snap out of Toki's mind and then quickly convey that information to the team.
Alright, what's the plan?
No, I guess we don't have any choice. Might as well go fight.
Yeah.
I don't think that thing's going to talk to us, so...
That is the regular
We
picture
gotta
of what they
be
look
nice.
like. This is first contact with an alien species. You don't want to try to say hi first?
That's true. Nanu. Live long and prosper.
Alright. I'll move this one over. There you go. I gotta move the map over. Oh, I didn't. Sorry, I meant to put him on there and I forgot. Let me drop this guy on here for you. There you go. Alright. So both of these creatures are in here. Navarra's orb is still kind of illuminating the room here, and this gorilla wolf is looking very angry. Peter, you've kind of snapped out of it. Go ahead and roll initiative. Are you leaving Toki over there?
Yeah, I'll probably pull Toki back just 2 squares to the left, and then that's it.
Okay.
Come on.
Sako, don't forget on yours you get initiative, or you get advantage. So roll yours twice. Hey, nice. Both of them rolled really shitty on their initiative, so... Damn it. Here. I need a better volume control for this thing. Alright. It is Navarro's turn. What are you doing?
Okay, can I move the sphere, or is it...
You need to be able to see where it's going, so you would need to step past Peter, and Peter just told you that up the stairs was that creature. So I mean, you presumably could step past Peter and then move it up. It's going to fade at the end of this round, so like you only have one chance to use it unless you want to recast.
Yeah, I'll use it.
Okay, you're going to step back past Peter then.
Yeah.
All right, so you would need to step, say, about here, or so to be able to see up the stairs enough to see this creature. So what are you doing? You're just going to move it over to him?
Yeah.
All right. So you send your flaming sphere at him. The cast when they already are there. Okay. Still makes a save. So all right, go ahead and hit the. You don't need to hit the effect this time. We'll go ahead and hit the cast button again. Oh, let me target him for you actually. You were trying to hit the big guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And he succeeded. Here, you got a 19. versus your 17.
Alright.
What does it do on a success? Does he just step out of the way, no damage?
Actually,
Half as much damage as a success, so it still hits. Go ahead and roll the damage. Okay, and yeah, it burned him for 2 because you rolled a 4, so you did 2 damage. Okay, and any bonus actions or anything? Actually, it's a bonus action to move it, so that was your bonus action already.
Oh, sweet.
Take
Well,
out the mine
in that
flayer.
case, I can't get that far. Like, I can't see. I'm assuming I don't have a clear line of sight because that thing is so
You
big.
didn't use all of your movement. You did 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, I guess you got 5 feet more.
Close. Yeah, be careful, don't get too close.
Yeah. Alright, well then, since I just did a bonus action, I'm going to hit him with light.
Okay. Yeah, you can move that because you already cast it on. Yeah, you can do it. All right. You have him targeted. Wait, why did it drop off the target? All right, go ahead and hit it again. And he got a 19 versus your 17 again. He rolled a 17 plus 2, so he succeeds, but it's still half damage, so go ahead and roll the damage on it. God, that's so many dice. All right. It's still pretty significant wounding. I mean, it doesn't really show too much on him. He's not badly wounded or anything, but that kind of boiling black and green cloud of what look like rotted leaves kind of boil over him. It doesn't seem to be. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see the Scion at the Mind Flayer at this angle, anyways. But I'm gonna go ahead and change his name too. There we go. All right. Is that it for your turn?
Yeah, I'll just back up my last 5 feet.
All right. And at the end of your turn, that sphere blinks out of existence, so it has gone off of the map here too. And you're going up the stairs your 5 feet, or move like back towards Jack 5 feet?
Back towards Jack 5 feet.
All right. There you go. Let me delete that token. All right. It is Toki's turn. Sako, what are you doing?
All right, Toki is going to run south up those stairs, and he's just going to do some quick recon up there.
Okay. As soon as he gets to the stairs, you can already tell that he that there are more of the gorilla-like creatures down there. So I mean, just from a quick view, you can see that there are more. They don't appear to be like coming this way, but they're definitely down there. Like the smell is so much stronger down here that you can tell for sure.
Gotcha. All right, so I guess we'll run him back over to where he was, and he'll just be useless.
Okay. As he should be.
As he should be.
As Tokis are known for. All right, your actual turn now.
My actual turn, I'd like to move 1 square up. And how far away am I from that beast?
Let me drop a target on him.
If
65
I could
feet.
move 5 more feet towards him, maybe up and to the right, so I'm at 60 feet.
Yep, 60 feet.
And at 60 feet, I'd like to cast Dominate Monster level 8.
Yeah.
All right. You can see him enough to cast, because normally, like, he doesn't have about half cover, just because the stairs, like, that's an elevation, so you're looking up the stairs, but you can see his head and his shoulders. Level 8 Dominate Monster.
Yeah, if it makes things better, I can move forward a little bit more. Have some
No, you're fine.
space.
You can see him from there. Like, it's just because the like you're good basically from where you're at. All right, you attempt to beguile a creature that you can see within range. It must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you for the duration. If you or creatures that are friendly to you are fighting it, has advantage on the save. While the creature is charmed, you have a telepathic link with it as long as the two of you are on the same plane of existence. You can use this telepathic link to issue commands to the creature while you are conscious. No action required. Which it does its best to obey. You can specify a simple and general course of action, such as attack that creature, run over there, fetch that object. If the creature completes the order and it doesn't receive further instruction from you, it defends and preserves itself to the best of its ability. You can use your action to take total and precise control of the target until the end of your next turn. The creature takes only the actions you choose and doesn't do anything if you don't allow it to do. During this time, you can also use the creature, cause the creature to use a reaction, but this requires you to use your own reaction as well. Each time the target takes damage, new Wisdom saving throw against the spell. All right. I'll tell you this though. Make an Arcana. Tell you what, we'll do it this way. Make an Arcana check first. I'd say just barely that you have a sense that you can see the arcane rill that is surrounding the creature right now, that is coming from the image that Toki showed you of the illithid that is standing next to it. It is already dominated, specifically by this exact spell, actually. So as you were kind of coming around the corner and preparing to throw it at it, you're like, oh shit, he's already, like, that's already happening right now. That would have to be dispelled first.
Yeah. Let me see if I have a dispel.
It's funny, actually, because it's literally Dominate Monster that is on it right now.
I'm trying to look for my dispel.
Dispel magic. It's not very high. I think it's only like 2nd level or something. Maybe 3rd.
Should be 3rd.
Yeah, it's 3rd. There it is.
Alright, I will attempt to dispel the magic.
Alright, so this one... So how this one works is there's a catch to it. So choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target just automatically ends. For each spell level above 4th or higher on the target, make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. This is an 8th level spell. The DC would be 18. So you cast the spell. Normally, you say you casted it, we would mark off your spell slot, and that would be your turn, kind of thing. But I'm gonna let you, just because you haven't seen this one too much before, because, well, if you cast it at a higher level, if you cast it at a high enough level, it automatically will just drop the spell. And I would say Peter would know for sure how this spell works. Like, just, out of familiarity, you'd be familiar with Dominate Monster. So when you cast a spell using spell slot of 4th level or higher, you automatically end the effects of a spell on the target if the spell's level is equal to or less than the level of the spell slot you used. What that means is if you use your 8th level spell slot, it will drop the control monster immediately. If you use your 7th, you'll have a chance to drop it. Or if you use it at any lower level, you'll have a chance to drop it, but you'll have to beat an 18 on a DC check.
Okay, I have to beat an 18 no matter what then?
If you use your 8th level spell slot to do it, it'll automatically be done. You don't need to do anything else. You burn it and it automatically will break the control that he has over it.
Right, but if I use a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th...
It reduces the DC. It reduces the DC by 1 level each time. By 1 point each time for each slot.
So if I use a 7th level, I have to roll an 18?
No, if your 7th would be down to... it's a 3rd level to start with, so it'd be 14. You'd have to beat a 14.
What about just a 5th level?
Be 16.
Alright, I'll cast it at a 5th level.
Okay.
And I saw this in the bones. I rolled a 19.
God damn it. You asshole. Didn't even fucking think about that. I don't get to have any fun with you guys. Alright, let's see. Mark off that 19. There we go. Alright, so you grab there's a powder, like a neutralizing powder, like a what sort of thing, a baking soda, and crush it in your hand, and kind of put it in your hand and then blow it out, like just blowing the smoke off of your hand towards this thing, and you see the eyes of this creature go where they had kind of a sheen to them that you specifically could recognize that there was something was controlling this. They begin to kind of calm and fade a little bit, and then there's just regular animal mindless rage kind of coming out of this thing, and it kind of is banging his fists against the ground, and it looks like he's about to rotate towards the illithid there. It is dispelled as far as the Dominate Monster is no longer under control. Any bonus actions or anything?
Not at this time, no.
Alright. So we marked off the 19 and the 5th level spell slot. All good there. It is Ketis' turn.
I am going to...
Make some friends there, Ketis.
Well, that thing's going to attack us as soon as the Mind Flayer is dead anyway, so... But... Actually, you know what? If I don't distract him, then maybe he'll hit the other guy first. Either way, I'm going to move up to just above where Navarra is, so I can see. Can I see up the stairs from there?
Yeah, so both of you guys can see its full head and everything, its full head and shoulders from there. That was probably, hang on, that was 5, 10, 15, 20, like 30, 25 feet for you to get there.
Okay.
You have 15 left.
Then I am going to, if I can see it from here, cast a Sickening Radiance and center it right in between where the big guy and the Mind Flayer are.
The Mind Flayer has pretty much full cover from the big thing.
Okay.
It's enough behind it that you're not going to really be able to hit it. It would have full cover essentially, but you can definitely hit the big guy.
So even area spells don't.
Oh, sorry,
Or
Sickening
you'd
Radiance.
still be blocked from an area spell.
No, not for area would still hit. I wasn't familiar with Sickening Radiance. Let me read it real quick. Dim greenish light spreads within a 30-foot radius sphere centered on the point you choose within range. The light spreads around corners and lasts until the spell ends. When a creature moves into the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, that creature must succeed on a con save or take 4d10 radiant damage and suffers 1 level of exhaustion and emits a dim greenish light in a 5-foot radius. This light makes it impossible for them to benefit from being invisible. The light and any levels of exhaustion caused by the spell goes away when it ends. Okay. Yeah, no, it would definitely still hit both then.
Okay. And that is what I would do.
Alright, let me grab the token for it. Oh, there's not one? That's a shame. Let me find one that'll work. Oh, that's annoying. Alright, 30 feet, right?
Yeah. And I'll put it just like right in between the two of them. Or if I have to, I can just center on the Mind Flayer, because it's going to hit the big guy anyways, huge. So.
Alright. 30 feet is pretty big anyway, so I gotta get this thing grown. Damn it. Keep zooming in on the map instead of making it bigger. Alright. Alright, so you're covering the big guy. Oh, I should have dropped it on the other level. That's fine. You're covering the big guy and trying to get the Illithid in there as well?
Yeah, well, I'm going to put it actually mostly centered on the Mind Flayer, because it'll hit the big guy too. So.
Okay. Like back here?
So kind of in between them. Yeah, like right there. That's good.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, that is thrown up. That's when they start their turn there, so it's not doing anything this round, but it will as soon as they have their turns.
Okay.
Alright, that was a full action for you. Do you have any bonus actions?
Yeah, I need to.
You need to mark off your spell slot too.
Oh, yes. Okay. Put up my shield and might as well heal up a little bit. I'm going to sip a Stratos.
Okay. Sorry, I was fixing my mic there. Alright. So you send out this kind of cloud that begins to envelop around them, and this kind of dim, ugly green light is enveloping the both of them there. Jack, he says, okay, I'll watch our backs over here, because he can't get up the stairs in time anyway, so he's going to watch this tunnel for now. And then that's that creature's turn. So it has 1 level of exhaustion, so it'll have disadvantage on any ability checks. And what else?
Do I need the damage if it didn't succeed? Or I don't know how the damage goes. But...
Let me check real quick. Succeed on a con save or take 4d10 radiant damage. And 1 level of exhaustion. Alright. Let's make a con save. Go ahead and actually you will do it. Do I have him targeted for you right now? I think I do, don't I?
I'm not sure.
Nope. Alright. It's still difficult getting used to having it all on one screen here. We have to have that on 1%. Alright, that is on him. Go ahead and hit the Sickening Radius, the cast on it. He got an 8, so he failed. Go ahead and roll the damage.
Sweet. And then do I do the effect for the exhaustion?
I'll automatically apply that. And now
Okay.
I need to drop it on the other guy. And actually, I gotta clear that one. Alright, go ahead and hit the cast again. He succeeded. He got a 17, which was your DC. So go ahead and roll the damage, but I think it's still half damage.
Okay, and does he get exhaustion or not?
Yep. No, I think it's only on a fail. Let me see again.
Okay.
Yep, only on a failure.
Okay.
So it also, he's still in it, so I mean if he gets out of it that's different, but otherwise the alpha at least cannot go invisible because it's emitting a dim green light, but since the guy succeeded, the illicit succeeded so far, he could still go. Alright, oh shit, I shouldn't have done, well he's coming up next anyways, so it should have been dropping it on him after, because yeah, it's on the start of their turn, and it's the big guy's turn, so I need to fix these audio levels so that they're all the same, because half the songs are really quiet and half of them are a little bit louder. Alright, so the big guy has a level of exhaustion now, but that doesn't slow him. He is going to... I'd say that he didn't recognize the source of this thing that just hurt him, this radiant damage that just hurt him. I don't think he would recognize where that came from. He just knew that this illithid was threatening him. He is going to attempt to grapple, so he's going to spin around and try to pick the illithid up around, you know, what octopus-like neck it has with one of its big sharp fists. But he has disadvantage on the roll because of the... Well, he got a 4 and a 18, so drop the 18. He's got a 4. And the illithid kind of eyes go wide for just a second. You guys can just barely see this as he's kind of rotating the alpha's rotating in his place there. But the illithid ends up ducking under the big fist. It is the illithid's turn. It is seeing the situation kind of already starting to go bad. It is going to... you've got that effect up. It knew where it definitely knew where the source of this came from. He is going to step 5, 10, 15, 20. He's going to step to right here. He's going to want to get away from the alpha as well. He's going to step to right there, and he is going to... One sec here. Okay. It is a 10-foot radius. So, all three of you make a wisdom save. And you need to beat... actually, well, if I don't want to hit it because I want you guys to see the spell. You need to beat a 15. All three of you need to beat a 15 on a wisdom save. And actually, Navarro, you have advantage on this. So, well, you beat it anyway, so it didn't matter. And so did Peter. Elves have advantage on this kind of an effect. God damn it. Alright. He comes spinning around the corner, standing by a pillar there, and you see him kind of look up at the big alpha, and then look back at you guys and holds one hand out, and you don't see so much as feel the effect of what he's attempting to do. You feel spears in your mind, kind of similar to how you guys felt in the Azol house, that something was trying to inhabit your mind, and all three of you are able to kind of shrug it off. And that the illithid standing there looks very frustrated. You see the eyes go wide in this kind of blanket anger. Remember, there's no mouth on this thing, so you're just kind of reading this sense from what eyes you can see. And that is... he is actually going to... You see him begin to lift up off of the floor, and he's now levitating in the air a little bit. And he'll end his turn there. It is Navarro's turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna get 30 feet from him. I think that's how far. Yeah, that's how far I need to be.
Okay.
So.
From the illithid?
Yeah.
Okay, let me target him for you. There, you're at 45, so 30 would be right there.
Right,
so you still have a tiny bit of cover from the, like if you were to duck back behind it. But you basically have a little bit from the stairs right now.
Okay, so I'm going to use Blight, but at 5th level.
Okay. He failed his save. So for the third time today, you send out these kind of swirling, rotting leaves towards this creature, and he's just as he's kind of floating up, this kind of envelops around him, surrounding him up in this kind of motion that looks like he's floating in water, with these leaves kind of attacking around him. Go ahead and roll the damage on it.
I don't have a damage for 5th level. It just has
okay.
the 4th level on here.
All right, let me add it real quick. For blight. Damage increases by 1d8 for each slot level above 4th. Go ahead and roll it, and we'll just roll another d8 and I'll add it.
Okay.
8d8 wasn't enough for you, Becky? You had to roll it, you had to add a 9th one?
Yeah, that's right. All right,
All right.
so that's the 3rd one in?
Yeah, 3rd from the right. God damn. 45 damage in 1 round. Alright, add 6 more, so... Did I do that right? Hang on. Yep, alright, cool. There we go. Alright, this stuff boiling around him, it's burning into it, and you actually see little chunks starting to fall out of the tentacles of the mouth tentacles. They look like an octopus hanging from his face. And in fact, the head kind of looks like an octopus anyways, but... Alright, that it for Navarre's turn?
Yeah, I'm just gonna back up like 5 or 10 feet.
Okay. Down to here, down to the bottom of the stairs?
Yeah.
Alright, Peter's turn.
I'm still within 60, so I will attempt a dominate monster.
Okay. On the alpha?
Yes.
Alright. Alright, concentration effect. Wisdom save. Alright, let me go ahead and target him for you. Actually, we still haven't targeted. Okay. Oops, I closed the spell window. There it is. Go ahead and hit the cast. You hold your hands out towards this thing, and you can kind of just barely over Ketis' head and over the edge of the stairs there see its shoulder and its head. But you send your feelers out kind of via your third eye towards this thing, and it rolled a 12. So you feel your control kind of just waving over this creature, and now it is under your control. You can enforce it to have simple commands. You can tell it to do anything you need to. But go ahead and put click the first effect, the one that says Dominate Monster, see Self. Hit that one. I'll drop the other one on him. There we go. Now every round he gets a chance to break that, but he'd have to beat that DC at the end of its turn. You know what? I think it's supposed to... Okay, tell you what. It's supposed to have advantage on that roll because it's in combat with you guys, but it didn't know that the sickening radiance that Ketis put up, it thought that came from the Illithid. It didn't realize it was coming from you guys, so I would say that doesn't count. Because it doesn't realize that you guys were the ones that had hurt it, if that makes sense. So, it is under your control.
As far as it knows, the Illithid kind of zapped its mind, it turned around, and it was hurting, and it was still standing next to him.
Yep, exactly. So it doesn't realize that you're the one, or that Ketis was the one that hurt it. Therefore, it doesn't know that it basically wouldn't have advantage for that reason. So, all right. Is Toki doing anything?
Toki's useless. Just pull him to the left a little bit.
All right. Get him ducked behind the wall over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Ketis' turn.
Can I tell the general condition of the Mind Flayer? How beat up he is? Just by looking at him?
It is more than what's called bloodied, which is halfway. So it's a little more than halfway beaten up.
Okay. Yeah, then I will hit him with my crow's mark.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. And then I'm going to move up next to him and see if I can hit him. Or actually, no, I can't quite get to him, can I?
45, so you can get almost there. You can get as far as here. You have 40 feet, unless you want to dash.
No, I'll just go ahead and stay there.
Okay.
And then I will just hit him with some death knells then.
Okay. You have him targeted. You can go ahead and hit the cast.
Okay.
And it hits.
Oh, sweet.
And blast him in his dumb tentacled face.
Hell yeah. And he can't hear either, if he even has ears.
That's a good point. I don't know if they... I think they do listen normally. Okay. And you're going to hit him again? And you're pushing him back or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have pushed him into the edge of the radius for sickening radiance. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, at least he's inside of it. If he starts his turn there.
Okay. And then we'll hit him again, but this time I'm not going to move him though, if it hits.
Well, I mean, he'd be further into it if he did. Either way, he's only one step to get out of it. It does hit though. Do you want to move him or no?
If he stays there, then he'll still be in the radius, right?
Either way,
For his
he'd be inside of it either way.
Okay, yeah, I'll move again. I'm still within range anyway, just so I can get to him on the next turn. So yeah, I'll move again.
All right. Go ahead and roll the damage. So both of these, you kind of blast him left and right, and he's kind of stumbling a little bit as he's stepping back, or not stepping back, but floating in the air, and kind of is knocked back into this kind of glowing radius that you have in the corner here. That it for your turn?
I'm going to actually make sure I have a push back up and do a little bit. So, yes. Sorry, I'm lagging a little bit.
Oh, good. Go ahead and roll it. Jack is, he's kind of confirmed that there was nothing, coming up this way, and is running up to kind of reassess the situation, asking for a sit rep from Peter. The Alpha, now under Peter's control. What are you doing?
Alright, for the Alpha, what's the movement on the Alpha? 30 feet, like everybody else?
No, 40.
40. Can I move him just below the squid face and give him a punch?
Oops, I grabbed the radius and I had to grab the Alpha. Here we go. Like just to here, like, cause he can go, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. He can make it to about, well, okay, I mean, if you don't mind him staying in the radius still, he can hit like right there and hit him.
I was hoping to see if he could fit just below that, just below the radius.
Let's see. Who's there? 5, 10, I don't think he'll be able to, because this pillar is going to block him. He won't be able to get through there. So he'd be kind of, he wouldn't be able to make it all the way through.
Okay, that's fine.
Now you can make him, like, there's plenty,
you
you see him around here, you see there's plenty of things you could pick up and throw at him. But if you wanted to punch, he'll need to go, like, around here.
Yeah, that's fine right there, it's fine.
Okay. Alright, and you wanted to punch him?
Yeah, what type of skills does he have? Do I know this, or is it just something
Yeah, you won't, you're not in his mind, you're just telling him what to do and he's obeying.
Gotcha. Then just a two-fisted Hulk smash down onto the Ulysses.
Alright. And he hits, so he's is kind of spinning around the corner here. Yeah, G, you're like, I heard you say that. Your mic is okay. His mic was cutting in and out a little bit, Becky.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna restart Discord.
Okay. Yeah, his mic was cutting in and out a little bit, but it's all right. So the gorilla creature though spins around, kind of grabs the top of the up near the top of this pillar, and monkey like kind of swings his way around and holding up to the top with his right arm and swings his way around, and then kind of just clocks towards the Illithid with his left fist, trying to punch him, and then brings his right fist back in as he lands on the ground, and he connects, he hits. Oops, one too many. Pretty good hit. He just smashes into with both fists into the Illithid, and sends, like, the Illithid was already floating in the air, of course, inside this radius, but he punches him and knocks him back, and he goes kind of careening through the air until he crashes into the wall behind him. That only does a D4, but might as well put it on there. Rid of the 3 damage. There we go. That is... He doesn't really have any bonus actions or anything, so that's it for the alpha. Anything else? Like, do you want him to move or anything, Sako?
Yeah, if you could. How much more moving do I have out of him?
He only moved 10, and he has 40.
Can I move 35 down, kind of in between Toki and the Illithid?
5, 20. He can get to about here. That work?
Yeah, it works.
Okay. Because he had to go around that pillar. He couldn't walk straight south. All right, the Illithid's turn. It is going to... Becky is Discord coming back up?
Yeah, it's lagging a little bit.
Okay. The Illithid is gonna do something dangerous. The Gorilla Wolf still has disadvantage. Okay. G, can you hear me again?
It still says connecting on the laptop.
Weird. It shows him in the chat with us now. And Becky, he can't hear through yours, right?
No.
Okay.
Still can't hear anything? Alright, it says it's connected, but he says he still can't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him light up at all.
He's gonna restart the computer.
Okay. We'll just take a quick break then, guys. And then, when we get back, yeah, that should still be saved. Okay. And then we'll finish this up when we get back. Probably have another... it depends on how long, but we probably have another half hour or so.
Okay.
Alright, guys.
All right.
Back in a minute.
3 o'clock then?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right.
Well, actually, no, we're not.
Whoops, that's not the one it's supposed to be playing.
All right, I'm back.
Yo.
Hello?
Hey, Becky. Damn it, I think I forgot to hit the thing again. Yep. I see Ben back in Discord and reconnected on Fantasy Grounds. Has he not tried to jump back into Discord yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Yo, G.
Yo,
Okay. Looks like we're good now.
I think so.
All right. And in that case... I need to add some more to that playlist here. Alright, so it's the Illithid's turn. The Gorilla Wolf, G, while you were away there, the Gorilla Wolf Alpha spun under control of Peter, spun around the pillar that was there and punched the Illithid through the air until he crashed into the wall. The Illithid... What's that?
No, it's a dog talking.
Oh.
Hush.
And so the Illithid kind of shakes its head, and those waving tentacles kind of keep floating through the air the way that, like as if it's floating through water. And then it is going to, seeing the situation is not favorable, it is going to move itself Out, it definitely won't be in the radius here. In fact, actually, it's going to move itself. Trying to get away from... Yeah, it's going to try to get away from the Alpha. But none of you guys are good places for it to go. It's going to move to basically right here, just to get, against the wall a little bit, just kind of floating over there. And it pulls out of its pocket. You see it pull out. It's still holding the apotheosis in one hand. In the other hand, it pulls out this metal rod that looks very expensive, very shiny, and it's forked at the end. It's basically looks like a big fork, right? Kind of. And it's gleaming, and it's holding it up in one hand, and it takes that fork and starts drawing a circle in the space in front of its face, kind of like think like the Doctor Strange movie where he keeps drawing spells in the air and they're drawing these runic circles. He's kind of doing that. He's drawing like a circle in the air, and it's starting to glow purple and then darken into a dark black. Like it starts purple when he's first moving it through the air, and it darkens into a dark black, and you see this kind of dark black wavering energy just floating in the air, like it's burning, like it's singeing, like wood burning in the space in front of him. He is about to cast something. Peter, you're too far away to be able to identify it. Ketis, I don't know that you would even be familiar with this. Give me 1 second to look at it real quick. I don't think it's something that Ketis would be familiar with enough to be able to identify. I'd say you can go ahead and make an Arcana check with a really high... Let's see. It is something, actually, that Ketis could potentially be familiar with. Make an Arcana check on Ketis.
Okay.
You vaguely recollect what he's casting and know that it is something transportation-based. Teleportation-based, rather, is the best you can identify. But he's about to cast it, and it's going to... it's instantaneous, so are you doing anything or no?
Me?
Yeah.
Do I have a chance to react?
You can use your reaction if that's what you're doing. Remember, you can react at any time, depending on what it is, for certain spells or certain actions and stuff.
I don't know if there'd be much I could do. Would I have an actual action or just a reaction?
Not an action, just a reaction.
Okay, I guess I'll tell everybody to... Well, I know it's a teleportation thing, so I don't know which way it's going, and tell everybody to brace themselves, I guess, in case it's us, we're going to move.
Okay. He completes the circle. Naivar, you can just barely see that. Actually, both Naivar and Peter, you can just barely see the top of this circle. And as he finishes this drawing of this space in front of him, what's that?
Is this something that he's rolling for per se, or is this just something that he does?
It's just flat out something he does. If you were close enough, Peter would have been able to recognize it for sure, or would have had a much better chance of it anyways. But you're too far away to be able to see the whole thing, so you wouldn't have seen what he was casting, therefore you wouldn't have known to identify it. But there is a means of stopping this, but Ketis either doesn't have it or doesn't realize what's happening enough to be able to stop it. And actually looking at his sheet, he does not have it anymore. He used to, I think, or somebody does anyways. But anyways, he completes this circle, and as soon as he's finished this kind of purplish energy that comes around to the end and then begins to darken as soon as he's pulled the fork away, that black kind of runic circle that is drawn in front of him flashes open, and it sucks him inside of it like he just opened in old movies when somebody would shoot a bullet in a airplane, and they would just suck everything over to it like that. He just gets sucked inside of it, and he's gone. With the apotheosis. He had it on him, so that is now missing as well. It is Navarro's turn.
Is that still there, the purple sphere?
It was black by the time he finished it. It started purple, but it's disappeared as well. I would say roll an Arcana check on Peter. I would still say, because the apotheosis just disappeared, the latent energy left behind by this, you recognize that it was a plane shift that he casted. He plane shifted himself out. I would say too. I mean, you have control of the alpha at least at the moment, while you have your concentration up, and that lasts for, I think it's 1 minute, or is it 10? How many monster is up to an hour? Shit. Okay. Well, since you have control of this thing, are you fighting it still, or are we like? Do you want to drop combat?
I was actually just gonna run him down south and take out the other guys, but
Oh, yeah.
since our guy just ran away, it's kind of a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? What are you guys doing?
Is Big Monkey Dog able to go down through that stairwell over there?
He can make his way out. As far as going further in, he could very carefully go through that stairwell down there. Yeah, going south, you mean?
Yeah, just to kind of clear the area because we still got some enemies down there.
I mean, yeah, he can go through there. Is that what you're going to try to have him do?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, even just out of initiative order, you can't see through his eyes or anything, so you're going to come around and follow him?
Yeah, I'm going to stand between those pillars.
Okay. Alright, so you move over here. You can't quite see all the way up the stairs from there, but you can hear when he moves up the stairs that there are at least 3 more, possibly more, of this same kind of creature, maybe smaller based on the sound, that are making the same kinds of barks, except they're a little bit shied, like they're... think of it the way, well, I don't know how much you see of this, but like gorillas that, you know, if the alpha's there, the others will just shy away. And it sounds like that. It sounds like they're like submitting.
Okay. Is there a way that I can walk behind this beast and we just kind of clear the room just to see what's in there, just to make sure everything is clear, since it looks like they're submissive now?
Sure. So you kind of follow up behind it. I'm going to give it 1 just for the amount of time that it's been under. I'm going to give it 1 more wisdom save to see if it breaks out of it. Because it's supposed to get 1 every turn, so every 6 seconds technically. But you know, it's been enough time anyways. I'll give him 1 from it. No, he got a 3, so he definitely did not. But you kind of follow along behind him. There's a couple more rooms over here. Actually, just 1, I guess. There's the one at the top of the stairs and then 1 off to the side, and it looks like the smaller ones were in there. But when you step up the, I guess, well, first before I get to that, you're up here with the alpha. What are Arquidus and Nivara and Jack doing?
Well, I'll head down that way with Peter.
All right.
Yeah, I'll stand at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Jack comes along. Jack actually goes with you, Peter. But you basically, then actually from the top of the stairs, you can see down into the other room. You can see that there are 3 more of the creatures about the similar size to the other ones you saw, that maybe they were juveniles. There's a pile of bones in there as well, and there are 2 more corpses of these creatures, and the tops of the heads of these gorilla wolf creatures, the tops of their heads look like they've been caved in, and something has eaten presumably the brains of these things. They're just dead on the floor, not moving, and there's a hole in the top of the head that looks like it's been chewed through the skull. You hear Jack say, "What the fuck did that? Like, was it that thing?" Obviously referring to the Illithid.
What do you think, guys? We got a situation. We gotta chase this guy down now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of flipping through my spells to see if I have anything I can jump planes.
Plane shift, I think, is 9th level, but Illithids have it naturally. I think it's 9th level. Let me look.
Yeah, my teleport stays within the same plane, so...
It's level 7. But you guys, so basically this is where you guys are at. The apotheosis is now missing. You don't know what that will mean, potentially. You have this alpha who you've dominated, who is right in front of you. And, you know, you presumably will have for an hour. and the others around here don't seem to be acting threatening to you, at least while you're in the presence of this alpha. So what are you guys doing?
I don't know. Should we head back to the ship and see what the rest of the crew thinks? See if we can find it. A way to get to a different plane.
Do we know what plane he went into?
Make... it's kind of a halfway between an Arcana and a History. I'll let you decide which one you want to use, Arcana or History. It'd probably be Arcana on Peter. Definitely not.
Garbage.
Yeah, definitely not. It's based on the color and the way that it worked. It's not one you're familiar with, anyways. You are, obviously familiar with planar travel, anyways. In fact, that's part of what the Hermian shoes is doing, is traveling between planes, essentially, or at least it was intended to. But the style of the runic symbol that he made, and the color did not match any of that you're familiar with.
What do you think, guys?
Head back to the ship. See what everybody else thinks. Probably ride the big guy back to the ship. Make it fast.
Except you'd probably be banging against the ceiling. I think barely.
Let's get Toki. Let's get Toki riding on the back of this monkey dog over here. He'll be the new leader.
There you go. Alright, so you guys make your way outside of the cave. We'll go ahead and close that map. You make your way... that's a big map, damn. I didn't realize it was that big. Outside of the cavern there. And as soon as you step out into the light again, because it's been pretty dark in here, you've been kind of, illuminated a little bit by those braziers and the dancing lights and the fire from Navarre's orb. But as soon as you step back out, it's still like late evening, but there's enough moonlight to be able to see by this. And as soon as you've stepped out, once you've kind of come out to the edge of the cliff face and are looking down, you see the fur and heads and shoulders of thousands and thousands and thousands of these creatures that are all over the place, surrounding all of the land around you. They're all nearby. The pathway down, they don't seem to be blocking so much, but basically all of the forested ground below, they're just covering pretty much every. It's like standing room only kind of space. They're all everywhere. Just more and more of these creatures all over the place, of various sizes. None that are bigger so far than the alpha that is standing beside you, but all various sizes of the other ones. And they all are generally about the same. There's some variance in color. Some of them are a little bit more brown, some of them are a darker gray, closer to black, and so on. But all generally the same shape and size, just varying sizes. But more importantly is some motion kind of catches your eye in the distance. Actually, all three of you roll a perception. There's a little bit of a wind picking up, and it's kind of rustling the little bit of fur that's on these guys. And that motion is a little, because just you're in the twilight here, just basically looking through in moonlight, and you're not catching much. But Navarre, your elf eyes are a little bit sharper, and even here at night, and they're in the distance, a little bit further away, in a clearing that you guys hadn't noticed before when you were originally flying over. Not a very big one. It really wouldn't have been big enough for the Hermian shoes to land there anyway. There is a massive creature that has a shell, just a massive, like, curled shell, kind of resembling like a snail almost. And then sticking out of the base of that shell, if you took a snail and rotated it basically so that the head of the snail was sticking straight out, like if it was flat with the ground, it looks kind of like that, except where the snail part itself would be are long, purplish, bluish tentacles that are kind of wisping around as if they're floating in water. Do you know what a nautilus looks like? Do you guys know what a nautilus is?
Yeah.
So it looks like a nautilus, like a big curled shell, like a snail shell, with these tentacles sticking out the face of it. And as you, Navarre, as you're seeing this thing, all three of you actually start to notice this, because it starts to lift up off of the ground and is floating up. It's slow. It takes a second, but it as you're watching, it's 10 feet, and then it's 15 feet, and then it's 20 feet, and it lifts itself up off of the ground, and then it starts to fly what would seem backwards. It starts to, the shell, as if the shell was somehow visible or able to see, it starts to fly off in the distance and is kind of slowly meandering its way up into the sky. What are you guys doing?
I'm guessing we need to follow that thing. So get back to the ship if we can.
Jump back in the ship, yeah.
Okay. It was a good day's trek down to get back to the ship. You left in the morning, you got here in the evening to get all the way up these mountains to get back there. It was just thick to where you guys left off. So you guys kind of start heading your way back down. You don't take time to sleep or anything. You are surrounded by these creatures. They're all over the place. They're just staring at you. They don't seem to be aggressive, but if you're going to take that trip, then the Alpha is going to lose. You'll lose your control over the Alpha at some point. You don't know that they'll be hostile, so that may not be an issue. Remember, they were pretty much ignoring you until you were kind of invading their space.
Maybe just get as far away from that cave as we can with him, and then send him off before he...
Yeah, we got him for an hour, so we'll walk as far as we can until it starts to almost wear off, and then let him stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You guys start making your way down the mountain. Then you get as far as you can during that time to hopefully put as much distance between you and these gorilla creatures that are all over the place. That are just they're not following you, but they are kind of staring your direction basically, and all still kind of very closely gathered around that cave. You make your way down as far as you can. Peter, you're just mental math of it, figuring it out. You've got about 5 minutes left before it's going to run out. What exactly are you doing for leaving the creature?
What we'll do is, since we're being watched by everyone, and I got 5 more minutes left on this guy, I guess make a gesture towards him and make the Alpha make a gesture towards us, so that way he recognizes us as friends, and then we'll just walk away and leave him there.
Okay. They can't all see you. They're all kind of in a forest, but they could all, because you were standing on the top of a mountain looking down at them. But you're the ones that at least that are visible enough are able to see, and you kind of make your way carefully down the rest of the way, leaving him standing next to a tree. And you guys, as you kind of keep looking over your shoulder, Jack is just almost paranoidly staring over his shoulder constantly. And he keeps looking down at this journal like he wants to keep taking notes or keep jotting into it or something, but it's just too dark for him to be able to do it, and you guys are trying to rush a little bit. But watching back over your shoulders when you know that the spell is dropped, because you feel your arcane energy finally releasing to kind of free up your concentration of it. You look back over and you see that he kind of shakes his head, and then he looks left, kind of looks around, sees where he is, and then he just kind of looks over at the tree and grabs it with one clawed fist and starts climbing his way up to the tree. And he doesn't appear to be following you guys or anything of that sort. But you're just gonna keep walking through the whole night?
Yeah, I don't know. We should stop if we got a bunch of monkey dogs around.
You will have exhaustion for not sleeping, but you could presumably sleep when you get there, depending on how things go. So you guys keep on your way then, making your way all the way back down. In the distance, you do see that the Hermian shoes, and as soon as you guys are you're basically coming across to clear, over a little bit of a hillock a little bit, and you can see into the clearing. And as soon as you guys are visible, the door opens to the ship, and you see a Navarro lookalike, but a little bit darker hair, step out. And Yorth is just immediately there, and she starts she's bringing her fingers up to her hands up to her mouth, rather like she's going to try to megaphone yell, and then she kind of looks around and she puts them back down like she just thought better of it, but she's waving and cheering you guys on, just happy to see that you guys are alive and apparently coming back safely. You make your way down the rest of the way to the trip or to the ship there. You make it back safely. As soon as you get there, obviously Yorth is in there, and she gives. Did I say Yorth? Did I say the wrong name? It was.
No,
I didn't mention it was Yorth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I should have slept last night and I didn't, so a little sleepy. So, anyways, yeah, you make it back to the ship. As soon as you guys get there, she gives you all just a huge hug. She asks Navarre how it was, what happened, how'd it go. She's got her arm around your shoulders.
I guess just, explain to her everything that went on in the cave.
And you tell her that the apotheosis got away?
Yeah.
So Drew, Elspeth is not nearby. She's somewhere else further in the ship. But Drew is nearby, and obviously Jack is with you, and Yorth. So Drew, as soon as you say that there was a creature in there that got away with the with the apotheosis, and that it resembled, the common culture of a mind flayer. But as soon as you mentioned that he got away with the apotheosis, Drew's jaw drops, and Yorth kind of looks at you like a little bit worried look in her eyes. Says, "Well, what are we going to do? How are we going to get out of here?"
We did see what looked like possibly a ship or something that it might have been traveling on leaving. So maybe we can go after it. Do we notice which direction it left in, G?
You do know the direction that it flew into the sky, yes. It did,
Okay.
it flew off until it was too dark that you couldn't see it anymore. Peter, though, you do know that he plane shifted. He didn't teleport.
Yeah. I think I'll just correct him for the moment, if that's okay. Just
Okay.
let him know
Yeah.
it's plane shift.
Well, so the reason that would be important, so that Peter's familiar too, because I don't know if Sako is that he didn't teleport to his ship. He teleported to a different plane of existence.
Okay.
So it's not like he stole the apotheosis and went to his ship. He teleported somewhere else, and then that thing, whether it was a ship or not, but that Nautilus-looking thing flew away. It may not mean anything at all. That may not even matter. But I'm just just so that everybody's on the same page there. That Peter probably would have mentioned that. So Peter corrected you guys on that.
Technically, he could still be in the exact same spot, just in the upside down, pretty much.
That's possible too. Like so for example, the ethereal plane is the plane of the dead. That's where the crow's thicket is, right? And that's where so the ethereal plane is on top of the prime material plane, which means that the ghosts are just flying around you all the time. You just can't see them because you're not in the ethereal. So if you were to go into, say, the astral, which is tangentially connected to the prime material, which is where those creatures are from, as far as the from the history checks you rolled earlier, as far as your world knowledge came from. That they would be presumably on the astral plane, which is connected in some ways to the prime material. You just move via thought there instead of physical. But anyways, so Peter probably spouts most of this information out to you guys, in case anybody was not familiar.
Okay.
Do you guys do anything specific then? You just trying to formulate a plan, get some rest, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and while I'm resting, if I can, I'm going to grab some more Stridos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make your
long rest
alchemical
here.
checks. What's that?
Okay.
I'm sorry, we got a long rest here.
Yeah, you can go ahead and have a long rest. I'll apply it for you. As everybody's trying to come up with a plan, Jack and Elsbeth are talking quite a bit. Oh, you noticed actually too. When you guys got back, Jack took Yorth off after you guys had this discussion. Before you all went to bed, Jack took Yorth off to the side and showed her his notes on all of the things that he was taking. He was basically going over very, very, very carefully and very thoroughly of all the notes that he took of the creatures that were in there, the drawings and so on. What are you doing, Harold? You okay, buddy? I've just been playing. He's been acting weird lately. I'm kind of a little bit concerned. I'm going to have to take him to the vet because he's thrown up almost every day for the last 3 days. He's always been kind of a pussy. All right, 23 and a 14. What was the DC? I think it's 16, isn't it, G?
I don't remember.
I'd say that you have enough time that you could go ahead and refill both of them anyways. You could make enough,
Okay.
and you have enough resources to go ahead and refill them. So go ahead and mark those off so you have them full again. You guys all have all your slots or your spell slots and everything back too.
Do I re-roll my bones here?
Yeah, go ahead. Get down.
That's the
Harold,
dice on the
down.
left, right?
Yeah, the D20. An 8.
Oh, do I gotta re-roll all 3 or just 2?
No, you have to roll all 3 every day. 17,
Cool.
18. Those are still pretty good.
It's decent.
A 1, a 15, and a 19 was pretty, ridiculous, though. You didn't even end up using the 1. You could have used that to, avoid taking a hit somewhere or whatever, but you guys didn't really take too much damage this time.
That's why I was asking if he was casting that spell and if I could chunk a 1 in there.
Yeah, there wasn't. Oh, you meant if there was anything to cast? Yeah, plane shift doesn't have. Basically, if it's not counterspelled, it's done. There's no way around it. So it's something you guys would have had to counterspell, which I thought Ben used to have. Maybe Becky still has.
The only thing I have is my bracer that has to spell magic, but that's not a counter spell. That has to already be on.
I have
done,
counterspell.
Right? So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
But you
Navarre still
couldn't
has it
see
under
it,
bracer. Yeah, she was too far away. She could only see the top of it and wouldn't have been able to recognize that that's what he was casting anyways, just because she wouldn't have been familiar with plane shift. It's a high-level arcane spell, level 7 arcane. Peter definitely would have known, but he was outside of range and couldn't see it. All right, so you guys kind of take a couple of days trying to figure out what it is that's going on here. And what you can do. You've now been on this planet for let's say it's been about 6 weeks or so at this point, and the sky begins to grow dark again, and you recognize this almost immediately because it's not raining and the clouds aren't moving. It's just as if it was as if there was a dark blanket that was surrounding the planet. It was just too far away, and now it's kind of slowly getting close enough that you can see it through the sky. It's just permanently there. They're not moving. They're not roiling. They're just like a blanket basically surrounding the planet. And it's dark like that storm, but just no rain or anything of that sort. Peter, roll perception. Jesus, 13. In looking at it, you of course recognize that this looks similar to the day that you guys took off when you left your home planet. You didn't think too much of it at the time just because there was so much going on, and you figured that if there was anything specific going on with the clouds, anything weird, that somebody else would have noticed it. So you didn't spend too long looking at it because you had to prepare, of course, for the takeoff. But this time you have time. You're here. As far as you guys know, you're stranded here forever. So you looking at this definitely recognize that there's something strange about this. What are you doing to maybe investigate or anything of that sort? That's for any of you. Just Peter has noticed this and kind of told you guys, that this looks like what happened before you guys left.
And storm coming in.
Yeah, it looks kind of like that, but it's definitely like what a storm looks like. This does not look like a storm. It's just similar as far as it being kind of a cloud cover, but it's not moving like clouds.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing we probably don't have a whole lot of time left, so we're going to want to get moving before this place gets taken over too.
Peter, you do anything?
Just from memory, I mean, obviously I kind of know what's going on, but is there anything different about this, or is it pretty much identical?
To when you saw it, you've only seen it one time before, and it was on your home planet, but I mean, it's pretty much the same as that. It doesn't look quite as dark. It almost looks like it's slowly darkening, but not. It's almost imperceptible. Basically, like from one day to the next, you don't notice the difference, but from 1 week to the next, you probably would. And since as you guys are kind of trying to figure out what this is, it's now been a week since it has shown up, and it's darker now than it was the day that it showed up. Like the first day you noticed it.
Prepare to leave soon, huh?
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing with this time then, as this stuff is overhead? These creatures are still here, and you've noticed actually that now that you've had a little more freedom and time to kind of look around when you're not chasing. Well, I guess figuring out a plan for what to do to find the apotheosis and stuff. You're flying around this planet. You see that this gorilla wolf species appears to be the only semi-intelligent on this planet. They do seem to have very small collections of groups and so on. They don't really appear to be structures or anything of that sort initially, but the longer that you're here, it seems like you're noticing more. Like they're starting to pick up tools, and then one day, as you're flying over, you see smoke in the distance, and normally that would mean there was a lightning strike of some kind. So you guys fly straight there, thinking that maybe this was a storm, that maybe lightning did just come down and start a forest fire of some kind. But you fly over, and as you get closer, you see a group of these gorilla wolf creatures that, as you fly over, immediately just kind of stare up, looking at you. And right between them, in the middle between them all, is what looks like a campfire, like a very rudimentary, very very badly built campfire. And laying on top of it is a small creature that resembles vaguely like a rabbit, a little like a more of if you had a rabbit fur and everything, but kind of centipede-like. Like it's longer and with ears hanging off the front of it, but kind of a multi-sections and so on. But it's laying over this fire as if they're cooking it. And this is the first time you've seen this.
All this just happened over the course of the last week or two?
Yeah, you've been now on this planet at this point. You guys have been here for, say, 2.5 months now. As time is basically, if you guys aren't doing anything specific, I'm going to keep passing time, is what I'm saying. So, I mean, if you're trying to research anything specific or whatever, just hop in and let me know. But basically, the amount of time you guys have been here, you have seen these creatures start to learn how to use tools, and now apparently start to build fire and cook food. You're seeing a technological evolution in these creatures that doesn't seem necessarily natural.
I think we should check that out. What do you think, guys? Because that's a little bit too fast.
So like
Yeah.
the entire progression of the planet's going faster, it's dying
like
faster.
Some weird, freaky monolith or something.
Yeah.
Make a nature check on Ketis. Sako, I didn't even think about that at all. Your 2001: A Space Odyssey reference there. That was not my intent with that, actually. I mean, it'll make sense here in a minute, anyways. But that wasn't where I was going with it. But it's funny that it was a total corollary.
It was the Metroid that was making me think of that.
Yeah. Did you recognize the music? You remember which one this is?
Yeah, it's one of the later ones, right?
It's from the first Metroid Prime from Talon Overworld. It's like the first big level after you get off of that like derelict ship. Ketis, looking around, the plants and everything don't seem to be changing very rapidly. It doesn't look like the world itself is moving too much faster. It seems like these creatures have been invested with some level of intelligence that maybe they didn't have previously, or at least they or maybe had been untapped previously.
Okay.
And I would say, actually, as you've kind of figured that out, as you're kind of, analyzing the differences between the flora and the fauna here, that the plants don't seem to be changing too much. The trees still look pretty much normal, as you'd expect them to. In these discussions that you've had when you're speaking with Jack and with Nivara about it, Nivara, make a nature check as well. And then all three of you make a history check after that. Yeah, with 22. Okay. Nivara, you definitely notice that this is happening way faster than it should. As a professional biologist, you're obviously familiar with the evolution of species, and this is not normal. These creatures, when you first came here, didn't look to be much more than what they resembled, which is a high-level apex predator, but not advanced enough to be using tools. And you watch them learn how to use tools in a very short period of time and start to make fire. And in fact, actually, now that it's been a little bit further, it's been about 3 months at this point. You're starting to see every once in a while. It's not much, but you're starting to see branches that are laid over in a certain way that at first, you just look at them, and if you hadn't been kind of already thinking about this, you would have just thought, well, a branch fell off a tree and it landed that way. But then you're starting to see it more and more often, and you're starting to see that these branches are laid in just such a way that when these creatures are sleeping under it, that it might create a little more warmth, a little more comfort for them, like they're building shelters, very rudimentary, very very careful shelters, as opposed to just being in caverns and stuff. And you're seeing that more and more often now, where it can't be a coincidence. Something is happening. And for that history check, Peter, you. Thinking back on this, you were involved when the apotheosis was recovered back on your guys' home planet, and you're thinking back on it, going, well, I mean, could there be a corollary here? Is there something going on that maybe you didn't think about it? Maybe just in the arrogance of species, when you guys acquired the apotheosis, you already had advanced communication, you already had basic technological skills and things like that, but when it was kind of applied in a certain way, the species of your guys' home planet did very rapidly go from having zero capability for any kind of space travel or anything of that sort to, within the span of 1 year, being able to create this ship and with the full capabilities, presumably. Again, this was the first mission, untested, but certainly with the with the analytics you had, capable of flying to the edge of the solar system, which is an insane leap. But nobody really thought about it too much. Again, the arrogance of the species, just believing that this was the normal evolution, and you guys were doing it because you're smart, not because of outside influence. So you're kind of putting that together as you're seeing these ape-like creatures begin to evolve on their own way. Maybe not in the same goals, maybe not into the same targets, but something is definitely happening, and you're guessing. Your theory at this point is that the apotheosis is imparting creation to the species that are near it or that have touched it. So maybe in some way the alpha who was near it and the creatures that were in that cavern that you didn't kill, maybe they imparted knowledge to the others and so on and so forth until they kind of begun to evolve on their own through this technology tree, for lack of a better term. But anyways, the time continues. You're still, without getting meta on this, without going metagaming on it, you still have some time on this planet. So what are you guys choosing to do with the rest of the time here?
We need to start figuring out how to do a planar shit. So I don't really know where to get the knowledge from. But
You guys want to split up a little bit? Some of us will think about the plane shift, another will kind of check out this evolution and maybe, make contact or at least make a basic religion so we can enslave them or something.
that's a good idea.
Sako's on the right track for sure. What could you not do if you had an army of gorilla wolves, right?
Well, see, if he had his Jarbees, he could show them the Jarbees, and they'd be in awe of it. It'd be like a fire with a lighter, so they'd be like, "Oh, Peter's
you know
God."
what? You guys, especially
bees.
Ketis being a botanist, bees are the most important thing to botany. If you want plants to live, you need bees. So Ketis is very familiar with bees. No bees on this planet.
That's crap, dude.
Yeah. Speaking of, though, actually, for species, different kinds of creatures, Navara, it would have been on you, and I would say at one point, Elsbeth comes to you and says, "Hey, like I know this is a little silly, like to even have this discussion, but like, have you come to any idea for what we should call these creatures? Because we can't just keep naming them after or keep calling them after the species that come from our planet. So what should we? I mean, it's kind of on you. What do you want to call these guys? We can't call them gorilla wolves. That's not really fair to them." They don't have gorillas nor wolves here.
No, we should think of something cool to call them.
Call them Hoozlewets.
Hoozlewets?
Hoozlewets.
Look at all them Hoozlewets around here. It's cold and all them Hoozlewets are after me. You just tell her you're going to get back to her on that?
Yeah, we'll make contact and see what they want to call themselves.
Well, okay, so are you going to try to, attempt to communicate with them?
Well, yeah, since I'm pretty much studying them, I'd assume she'd want to try to make contact.
Okay. All right, so then if that's something you're doing to, spend your time... Now, remember, this is what I was telling you about last session, too. Like, when you guys have, we'll just call it, like, free time, essentially, in here, and some of that is going to be a little bit improv on your guys' side too, to have an idea of what it is that Peter might be doing during this kind of blank time on here. Like, you'll get to kill time somehow. So is he just reading books, or is he studying the topology of the land? Like, what are you guys doing with your time? And if Nivara is with her time is trying to study these creatures and maybe see if there's a level in some way of communicating with them, then that's that's a worthwhile kind of scene that we can play through, if that makes sense. So think of that as we're playing through the Stolen Century here, because there will be other, let's say, opportunities where you can kind of do some character building that way too. What would Ketis choose to do with his time off here in this alien planet, alien environment kind of thing. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we putting that out right now?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what. You and Ketis think on them real quick, and we'll go over Nivara's attempt to communicate with us. Now, some of it will be time jumping, because obviously there's going to be a little bit of time that she would be studying and so on. But we won't worry about that too much. But Nivara, if you're spending the amount of time that you have here, which you don't know at this point, it will be a year. But Nivara doesn't know that. You guys, for all you know, you kind of need to be here. You could potentially be stranded here forever. But anyways, like, did you have an idea of what you want to start calling these creatures? Not that you have to. I mean, I could just use a random generator and come up with a name. I didn't have one already. I just figured I'd let you choose.
I have no idea. I thought gorilla wolf actually sounded kind of cool. So.
Well, I mean, that's fair, but the problem is this planet doesn't have the gorillas nor wolves, so it doesn't mean anything to them. And even if it did, they don't have language, so it's not like they care. It's really just for you guys to be able to, and if you, let's say you ever make it home or whatever, for something for you to be able to call them. So let's use a random monster number or monster name generator here.
We could just call them Lupine Simians.
Lupine Simians?
Yeah.
Oh, these are awful names. Here. I will drop it in Discord. That's a name generator. Like those names, I don't like the compound names. There's like Slag Snake and Murktooth and Smoke Thing and Tanglefang and stuff like that. But you come up with it doesn't even have to be like you can call him Fred. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. But come up with a name at your leisure, anyways, and that's what we'll call him. But keep that in mind too. That if it's an important plant species, maybe it's something Ketis would be kind of responsible for, cataloging and that kind of stuff, or a new type of arcane technology or something. Maybe that would be something Peter would work with, whatever the case is. Just for kind of giving you guys a little bit of connectivity to the lore as well. But anyways, as far as the communication though, you guys, you and Yorith actually, spend quite a bit of time trying to study these, and you notice that actually she, is very rampantly gathering all the information that she can about this. I mean, you remember when you were kids, of course, that she would pick up every single little bug that you guys would cross when you were playing in the dirt, and just pick it up and let it crawl in her hand and study it and count the legs and the color and what makes this one this color and why is this one this color, things like that. That was something she was always super into, and this is just a playground for her to do that. So she's very much excited about going with you to attempt to communicate with these. And you try, and it just doesn't seem like they don't have the vocal cords capable of being able to speak. First of all, you notice that very early on, that they can make that barking sound, but there isn't a lot of variation to that bark, except for their size. The larger ones make a deeper baritone kind of a bark, but they don't have subtlety in it, so they can't make speaking sounds. But you do, over many, it takes you a long time, but over many weeks of trying over and over again, you kind of, at first you have to speak with animals and kind of let them know how calm that you are, that you're not here to threaten them in any way, shape, or form. But you do very carefully, very slowly begin to communicate with them in body language, handing them something and then miming handing them fruit and then miming the eating, like you're eating an apple kind of a thing. And to the point where they recognize you when you're coming. They're always excited, like you see them kind of running around on all fours, like a gorilla, where they're just excited to see you. And you notice that they are starting to, with your presence, they will gather around, which is not something you'd seen behavior from these guys do at all. But they'll start to gather around almost like kids at story time or something like that. And it's almost like they're having these events when you come, like the social event. And they are barking at each other, and they appear to be able to communicate amongst each other. It's just not something that is, and maybe it's a very limited means of communication, but it's just not something you've been able to decipher. But I mean, you do make leaps and bounds into being able to communicate with these guys. And then one night, actually, with a full moon in the sky, two of them, but one that's lighting the whole place, you notice that the whole group of this, what has become essentially a village, where these little lean-tos that they've built, these little shelters that they've built for themselves, where they've essentially made this kind of small village. And some of them are ones that strip bark, and the other ones are ones that go out and hunt and things like that. They kind of have this little group community that they just didn't have before. But with a full moon, they all gather around this kind of almost like a village square, almost in the middle of this little community they have, and they are howling this bark at the moon, and they weren't doing that before. This is a brand new behavior, and you feel almost a sense of accomplishment that you kind of got them to this point where it seems like they're starting to make family almost, where they didn't seem to have that kind of a connection before. But they've made leaps and bounds. Unfortunately, it's just not within their capability to really be able to communicate. But you've spent a ton of time with this, and Yorith is just over the moon happy at this time that you guys have spent kind of building this community with them. So after all that, any name?
Diabolical Cavern Freaks.
Was that one of the names that came up?
Yeah.
The Diabolical Cavern Freaks?
That's right. They love it.
I don't care, that's fine.
Alright, I am putting it down. They are Diabolical Cavern Freaks.
Yes.
Alright, Sako, what was Peter doing throughout this time?
Probably two things split. Half my time thinking about the plane shifts, and also kind of doing some research, arcane, whatever I have to do with the ship logs, or just local.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like we're kind of more friendly with the what was it again? The cave?
Diabolical Cavern Freaks.
Goddamn right.
Cavern Freaks. So now that we're kind of more friendly with the Cavern Freaks,
I would say that because Yorth is a little more jokey than Nivara, I wonder if maybe that was something that Yorth came up with just because of the whole cavern story, when you guys went into the cave, and that they used to live in the caves. Maybe that was something that Yorth came up with as a joke, and Nivara just never came up with a better name, so you guys just stuck with Diabolical Cavern Freaks and just like, fuck it, we're never coming back. It's not like, well, I guess you don't know you're not coming back. At least for now, until they can learn to speak for themselves, this is what we're going to call them.
Let's call them DCFs.
There you go, DCFs.
Oh yeah.
All right, go ahead, Peter.
So half the time I'm going to spend researching the plane shift, figuring out where they went, or where he went.
Okay.
Using whatever means I have on the ship, but also going back to that location and kind of, looking around and getting my senses. And then just for fun on the side, I'm going to start a little religion.
All right, so
nothing too serious.
Okay, well, we'll start with the going back there and researching the planar shift. How plane shift works is you have to know the plane that you're going to. So without knowing that, there's no way of following somebody without knowing what plane they've went to. I would say there's an added risk. Now, I would say that Peter probably would, under slightly different circumstances, would probably plane shift elsewhere, like plane shift out to to the city of Brass or someplace on the fire plane, for example, in Muspelheim or some other plane, to research, to try to learn, okay, well, which plane has that runic symbol, and Peter's mind is sharp enough, like, that symbol. In fact, I would say that as soon as you got back to the ship, you probably jotted that runic symbol down, that circle that he drew, to a T, just drew it perfectly, just so that you would have it to be able to refer back to, maybe even just jot it in your spell book in the back of it, just so that you would always be able to refer to this, like whenever you see it, maybe you could compare or measure. But the risk, the danger of this is that you can't exactly plane shift elsewhere from here, and the reason is that you don't know what this plane is. So once you've left it, you can't exactly come back, or at least you would have the risk of not being able to make it back potentially, because the Alcubierre drive took you to a different reality essentially, and you don't exactly know where this place is or how to get back to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, can't get back. No return address.
Potentially, yes. Now, it doesn't mean you couldn't figure it out, but at least, that would potentially mean stranding the rest of your crew, or leaving them to do this without you. And you're an important member of the team. You're the first officer. And the Arcanist, of course, Diviner and Navigator. I would say, in researching it, though, I would say that this will be potentially a longer series of events anyways, depending on what you guys do. Go ahead and make an Arcana check, and I'll put this down, I'll mark this down, and then, if this becomes later on, then we'll kind of start adding these together and see how it goes. Okay. There it is, 16. Alright. So you kind of go back to the cavern and you kind of study it, and there's just a tiny bit of latent energy left behind where the plane shift happened. But there's just not enough for you to really get too much information from it. But it's something you kind of, taking all these mental notes, jotting stuff down in your books, things like that, just to have to refer back to as you guys gather more information. And you don't really know what's coming up. Obviously, Sako does, because you guys, are in the future. But Peter does not. So you guys, believing you could be stranded here potentially for a while. That being said, then for the religion, give me an idea of what it is you're doing.
At first, it just starts out as a little fun game I'm having with myself to kill some time, but then it kind of gets out of hand, I think. Tokiatomy.
They worship cats.
Well, see, the thing is, I was having
the beginning
fun,
of Egypt.
There was just a bunch of them kind of watching me, and
Of the Diabolical Cavern Freaks?
The Cavern Freaks, yes.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of sitting around watching me, so I was, kind of kneeling down by a rock, and I just summoned Toki just to have some fun. And, Toki just appears on my shoulder, and lo and behold, religion.
So they're worshiping your magical cat that can just appear and disappear?
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere, and whenever I kneel down and it looked like I'm doing this prayer thing, this thing pops up. So, they think it's some type of a mystical thing.
So early on, after this event happens, for the first month after that, you you notice that every time that you're around, they stare like they're staring at you constantly, just nonstop staring at you, like wondering if something's going to happen, like like a guy that does card tricks at a party or something, just to see if he can pull one off, kind of thing. But eventually, after more time has passed and these guys are continuing to advance further and further, after some more time has gone by, you start to notice that you'll see a bunch of them that are whittling, like around the campfire at nighttime. They will be carving some things, and you'll notice that they're starting to carry these tiny little wooden. They've taken a chunk of wood and carved out the shape of a very rudimentary, very very ugly, to be fair, but a shape of a cat's head, and then later on a little bit more to it. And they always stain them. They stain them this dark black, because they can't get the wood to go the color that they want, so they stain them dark. So they're just picking up this dark dirt and just rubbing it into the carvings that they've made. But they keep doing this, and these what's the word I'm looking for? Not idols, but these affectations keep growing, and eventually you guys are, as you're kind of traveling around and studying and trying to figure out what you're going to do here. You come across one in the woods where they've taken a whole log, and the log has been felled, and the tree has been felled and knocked over, and it was a relatively big tree, and they've carved a sitting cat, like a cat that's just kind of sitting normally, feet, all 4 feet laying flat on the ground, like elbows and all the way up to the wrists, and it's just a cat that has been carved into the wood. It's just sitting there. There's none of the DCFs are around, but they've kind of left this here, and you keep noting that these depictions are growing in size and complication, getting more and more intricate, and they just keep popping up all over the place. But it does appear that these creatures are certainly interested in this strange four-legged white animal that can appear and disappear at will. And they kind of just keep leaving these depictions of it all around. All right. And for Ketis, what was Ketis doing for this time?
I'm going to continue to study the plant life around here, and I'm going to take a few samples of the ones that seem like they're not too big, like some leaves and stuff, to take back with us to the next place we go. And then I'm going to see if they have any medicinal properties, keep testing, and if they do, then I will, use them for our crew, of course, but then also teach the cabin freaks how to use the plants to heal themselves.
Okay. I like this. How we will handle this, go ahead and I'm going to have you make a couple of rolls here. Make a, let's start with a medicine check.
So a bunch of gorillas smoking plants, just staring transfixed on a cat that keeps disappearing.
Yep, that's why everything high enough to come back.
Well, what Ketis is really doing here is he's looking for them dank nugs that guy asked for at the IPRE conference.
If I do find some, I'll bring some back for him.
Well, he's dead, so
Yeah,
like that planet got ate, so
keep some for myself.
yeah. So you, in taking multiple samples and just trying different things and learning what might potentially have usefulness for this, you find a plant that is not, you don't find it very commonly. It's actually somewhat rare in the midst of this place, and the reason that it is because it's a style very similar to what's called a succulent. Do you know what a succulent is?
Not exactly. Is that like a Venus flytrap kind of thing?
Well, yeah, a Venus flytrap is a succulent. Yeah.
Okay.
It might be ENT. It's one of those two. Anyways, it is essentially a cactus. A succulent is a type of plant that they're usually from desert regions. They usually don't require very much water, but cacti are succulents, and so is aloe, that kind of stuff. Those are all succulents. But anyways, you find one that looks kind of like a fern, but the leaves are thick like a succulent. And you end up breaking it and testing this out, and it does take some practice because you end up having to boil it, which is very strange because you would think that boiling it would destroy any of the chemical compounds in it that could be useful for medicine, but you've tried other temperatures and it just doesn't seem to be working. But it's hard to find these. There are just not that many around because they're just not a plant that seems to be, for most of this planet, is very covered in verdant, like Pacific Northwest style forest. There just aren't very many of these plants around. But you find them occasionally on rocky outcroppings a little bit, not high enough for the mountains to get snow, but not so low that they're being covered by other plant life. But where you do find them, you've been gathering these and using them. And you end up finding that this one is extremely powerful, and it ends up being when it's treated just right, ends up being much more powerful than the wild sage root that you usually use for creating your own Stridose potions, for creating healing potions. So you stock up as much of this stuff as you can, and I'll tell you, for that attempt in it, will increase your Stridose during, well, it'll only work during the Stolen Century, because of course you would run out of this and you wouldn't have it for, you would have forgotten about this in the future, of course. So during the Stolen Century, we'll upgrade your Stridose to give another +2.
Sweet.
On your healing.
Oh,
so.
and then if I can in the process too, I'm not sure if I can figure it out in the amount of time that we have, but if I can figure out how to plant it and plant more of it, and then show the Cavern Freaks how to plant it too.
Huh,
so that way
okay.
they can have some when I leave, so they can have more when I leave. Because I know I can't take a whole lot with me, but
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I like that idea. Go ahead and make 2 nature checks for me. Setting it up to be able to cultivate it, to essentially try to farm it, you have been able to identify what kind of an environment it needs to be able to get it growing here. You can't get it to replicate anywhere on the ship, though. You've tried like pulling it out, and maybe if I just use these kinds of lamps and stuff like that, it just won't grow. It needs specifically the environment that is amongst, like I said, below the elevation of snow. It can't be so high that it's snowing, because it dies there. If it's too low to the ground, then the other overgrowth, or undergrowth rather, like bushes and grasses and things like that grow, will eat all of its food, and it doesn't grow there. It has to pretty much be in the rocky areas that are not too cold. But in so doing, you've not been able to replicate it outside of the environment here, but you have been able to figure out how it is there, and with some help from Nivara and Yorith, have been able to show these guys how to grow it. And you have so many cases now where these creatures are smart enough now that when they have an injured one, one of their young is climbing a tree and falls out and ends up breaking an elbow or something like that. You've shown them this, and they now understand how to use this. So you do see them using this regularly to come back and kind of heal they're sick and they're wounded. Mostly it's open wounds like breaks and bleeds and things like that, but it is something that you see them practicing with that, and you do notice that over time they start similarly experimenting with the other plant life around here for what might potentially have other uses, which is again kind of a further advancement that you weren't exactly expecting. So, all right. Anything else you guys are doing for the rest of this cycle here? I'll explain what that means in a minute, but is that it for your guys' time here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Then it has now been. You guys have been on this planet for just over a year now, actually, and you didn't exactly expect this, but Peter, there was just an inkling in the back of your mind that you thought this might have been coming, only because thinking back on when you retrieved the apotheosis on your home planet, it was almost exactly 1 year after that the hunger came. And the skies grow dark again. Look like storm clouds, but they're not moving, and there's no rain. Oops. And within an hour of the skies getting dark again, those dead black tendrils just fall out of the sky. Like the sky is just overfull with this blackness, and it's beginning to drip out onto the planet below. These tendrils just plummet out of the sky, just crashing into the earth and sending out these massive waves of this black tar that just begins to cover the surface. You see these villages of these DCFs that you guys kind of helped along a little bit. Are just being washed away under these things, and outside of this tar, as it begins to kind of just cover over the surface here, everywhere, all directions that you see these things, almost like water spouts on the ocean, like they're just these massive, just collapsing pillars that fall into the earth. But out of this tar are just an unimaginable, just an uncountable infinity of these shadowy creatures that are just pouring out of these. As soon as this happens, you guys you were out and just kind of making a small camp, just enjoying the outdoors, a little bit up in the rocks. A little, maybe Peter or maybe Ketis was working on growing these things a bit. As you see this all occurring, and you're all together, and Drew immediately is just shouting for everybody to get back to the ship, and you're all running as fast as you can to get back there. And you see just ahead of you, you're almost there. The ship's only 100 yards or so away. One of these pillars just crashes into the dirt beside the ship, and the ship tips to one side slightly, so much like that it's kind of blocking the door a little bit. And you guys are running as fast as you can, and these creatures are starting to pour out of it. and coming towards you. You guys are just barely making it to the ship in time. All three of you make a dex save. And I would say, Ketis, you can actually use your shield master on this one. Is it advantage?
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
No, add your shield's AC bonus to any dex saving throw. So 2 to any dex save.
Parkour.
Okay.
For a yeah, that's fine. Well, you guys all jerks. You all roll so high. It's not fair. You all are as you're running toward these shadowy creatures that are spilling out of the tendril that is on the other side of the ship are kind of standing and turning towards you, and some of them are lumbering and slow, and some of them are tiny and very very sharp and aggressive looking, and one of the larger style ones that you keep seeing these ones that they're very large, and they look like mud. They look like if they were brown, they would look like they were mud creatures. But these there's multiple of them, and they keep kind of dragging one hand along one kind of liquidy looking hand across the ground, and then fling it up in your direction and toss just this big blob in your direction, and each of you kind of have to keep dodging left and then right, and then just they're just trying to pepper you as you're running towards the ship. None of them are close enough to get to you, but they keep kind of throwing these globs of the shadowy shit at you guys, and you keep just dodging out of the way until you make it all the way back to the ship and immediately board as fast as you can. As soon as you're on board, Elsbeth and Yorith are arguing with Drew. Drew is already starting to fire the ship up, trying to get out of here, and they say that they're not ready, that they don't know what will happen if you guys try to fire up the Alcubierre drive without the apotheosis. But he's not even listening to them. He's already starting to power the ship. You guys have to kind of hold on to something as the ship is beginning to right itself, as it's starting to stand back up again after this tendril had knocked it over. But the ship kind of stands back up again, and he's already started to lift it off to align itself into the sky to face in the direction that the Nautilus-looking ship had flown off into. Okay, so as you guys are kind of looking up and you're just beginning to come up over the canopy of the trees surrounding you, there are these tendrils that are crashed into the ground all around here. Some of the beasts the shadowy creatures that are coming out of them are just gargantuan in size. They're coming from all directions, and there's just this whole planet is just covered in either the black tar itself or the creatures that are coming out of it. And so much, like you're almost at this point, you're seeing probably 40% of the surface is no longer green trees with these DCFs, these cavern freaks all over the place. It's just covered in these shadowy creatures everywhere. Drew commences a liftoff with the shoes, flying straight towards the sky. Everybody has to kind of brace themselves to keep from being knocked over. As he's lifting up over the canopy, though, you see those gargantuan creatures that are coming out of it are beginning to just scour the surface. They're just everything that they can come near is being absorbed into this like dead black tar. I'm sharing an image to you guys now. These behemoths, just massive creatures that are hundreds and hundreds of feet tall, just made up of tendrils and spines and tar. Just absorbing everything that's surrounding them as you guys are trying to lift up out of the surface here. The ship heads up out toward the surface and heads up through that curtain, that blanket that's surrounding the planet here. And as it begins to fly through it, space begins to feel gelatinous, like jiggly, like it did when you left the first time, when you left your home planet. And as you pass through it, you begin to, as soon as you get all the way through it and you kind of turn back and look, you're just seeing this kind of blanket surrounding what was the planet you just came from. You all are frozen again and then split into a million different versions, as if you took like a shard of glass or crystal that has been shattered, and you see these kind of reflective versions with like rainbow surroundings just from the refraction of light surrounding it. In all variations, there's just millions of yourselves, and you can't see anything else. There's just millions of you in all directions, and each of them have a slightly different look to them. Some of them are missing an ear, and some of them have a different look to their face, and some of them have wrinkles and the others don't. Some of them have freckles and the others don't. These are all just millions and millions and millions of variations of you, and you're surrounded by only that. You can't see anything else because it's blocking out your vision. And after a moment, before this goes on for too long anyways, this time has just stopped completely, and you all blink your eyes, and you're feeling yourselves in a very strange motion. You're feeling yourselves shift. You're not moving. You're not physically moving. You're not feeling yourselves move, but something is moving you all back to the exact positions on the ship that you were before you left your home planet 1 year before. And as soon as you guys are kind of pushed back to this place where you're seeing yourself kind of move almost like a conveyor belt into those same positions that you were in as you were leaving, with those panicked looks on your faces as your home planet was being devoured, Bakitas, your jaw starts to hurt. You feel that bruise like reform somehow. And the hunger has blanketed that planet. Those gargantuan mountain-sized tentacles, behemoths, they're scouring the Lamsic, just leaving places. It's all gone. That planet is gone, and you knew that happened to yours before you guys got out of there as well. And from a distance, you don't exactly see this, but Peter, through your third eye, you know for sure that what just happened is the hunger just grew. It acquired the apotheosis somehow. You don't exactly know how that occurred, but that's. We'll get to that later. It grew. You could visibly see it grow, and because that's what happens when the hunger catches the apotheosis, when it eats. We were going to take a break here, but because we're near the end anyways, let me get through. No, we'll go ahead and stop there, guys, and then we'll start here next week. Sound good?
Okay.
All right.
All right.